Oh yeah, no, I'm in a dungeon. What are we talking about? I'm not even here in my apartment at the moment.
Doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as fire. This can't hurt me at all.
Right?
You're about to learn in the dungeon.
All right. Well, I think we've given enough time for everyone to. Oh yeah, I mean it could. Well, funny enough, you say that, Kurtz. It is in fact the Molten Dungeon. So
Perfect.
here we are. So
Perfect
we're gonna.
segue.
Yeah, I get to have my apartment burned down and our party burned down all at the same time.
Oh.
This is great. This is great. Okay, so as you can see, we went ahead and already had everything set up so we could get into gameplay a little bit quicker. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of run through how setup works, kind of what you're looking at, and how this will, look from game to game. Again, the dungeon itself is an ever-growing thing, so no one dungeon setup will be the same, and I'll walk through that as well. So the first thing that you're going to do, well, actually, welcome. This is a demo for Here to Slay Dungeons, which is our upcoming Gamefound project that we'll be running. For those of you that are familiar with Here to Slay, you'll notice some of the same characters. You'll notice some crossover, all that good stuff. So you're getting to experience some of what you know from Here to Slay, but with a twist on it, where instead a competitive gameplay, we're actually doing a cooperative dungeon crawl here. So what you're looking at here is our small party of heroes that we've set up. We have Lupe, Vale, and Scout. I will be playing Lupe the Warrior. Josh will be playing Vale the Guardian. And then we have John over here on Scout the Ranger, which is actually a good time to give brief introductions as well. So a lot of you are familiar with me. I've done a lot of these streams before. But I am Jesse, the game design manager for Unstable Games. This is the most recent project we're working on. It's been all-consuming for the last, X period of time. I don't even remember how long we've been working on this now. Well, I love the vote of confidence, by the way. The party one is projected to win by a whopping 57%. We have 7% more faith in us than the dungeon bosses. But anyways, yeah, Jesse, game design manager. Josh, if you want to give us a quick introduction. John, and then Christina, please.
My name is Josh. I work on the games team, doing a lot of the rules and such. And I'm looking forward to smushing the spider.
My name is John. I am a game designer, been with the company for a while now, and I too look forward to squishing this spider.
Hey everyone, as many of you know, I'm Christina. I'm the crowdfunding marketing manager. You'll see me a lot in the comments answering any of your questions. I am actually going to be lurking around the stream. We subbed in John because I love spiders and I just can't bring myself to smush one.
Yeah, there's a couple living in her apartment that she signed a treaty with, so she's really hesitant to be the first one to draw blood in this scenario.
Pretty high stakes.
Yeah, pretty high stakes. I love spiders too. But we must smush. You're correct. Okay, cool. So with the introductions done, I'm going to go ahead and dive into setup here real quick. I'm going to break it down by the individual player area. So what you're going to do at the beginning of the game is you're going to select a character. Each of those characters comes with a designated class or school. In this case, we have the School of Blades, which is attached to Lupe here. That's indicated by the emblem in the lower left-hand corner of this card. Once you have selected, or once you have your base school, it's already selected for you, you're going to go ahead and select a secondary school. This is another school in which you'll pull abilities throughout the game. Again, they're all listed up here. I'll go over those in just a moment. So once you've selected that, you're going to go ahead and set all of your tokens up to match the starting stats of the player card. So the only one that will be off of the one here is this is level tracker, action tracker, and then this is your movement tracker. This is going to be set on your track near or up, indicating where this one movement is. So I have a movement of 3. This is just to help me track my movement throughout the game. You'll give yourself the allotted health that you have here, which is going to be 4 for Lupe. And then the way that drawing your school abilities work, again, we've already had this set up. We wanted to kind of get through the setup phase as quickly as possible, just so we could dive into gameplay. But the way that this is going to work is each player then is going to, starting with their primary school here, they're going to select 2 abilities from that deck. So what that would look like is I'm going to draw 2 abilities here. and I select one of these 2 abilities from my first school that will come in with me into the dungeon. In this case, we went ahead and went with Lightning Sheath. This one is immediately perform 2 or 3 core attacks, depending on whether this ability is mastered or not, which I'll get into as well. Once you have selected one of the 2 ability cards that you draw, you return these 2 cards back to the bottom of their corresponding deck. So, 2. Well, in this case, it'd be 1. But since we have it set up, then you draw 2 more from the secondary school here. So 2 more. Pick that one, and then I bring that one into the dungeon with me as well. For this instance, I went ahead and selected dodge roll. Dodge roll is when a foe attacks you, move 1 space and block the attack. You'll notice that each of these have a dice roll attached to them, very similar to Here to Slay. This is essentially a skill check that you have to make when you want to trigger this ability. So let me put these back here now real quick. Same thing, back to the bottom of the deck. Thank you. And that's how individual player setup is going to go. So each of the players is going to do this for their individual play area. They're going to set up again. They're going to draw an ability, 2 abilities from their main school, here listed on the left-hand side of the card. Then they're going to select their secondary school, draw 2 abilities from there. There is a process for how to start drawing these secondary schools. Depending on the characters that you're playing, you'll either get access to an ethereal or a physical school. In this case, both of Lupe's are physical schools. Same with Veil's, and then Scout over here has the ability to select either a physical or ethereal as their secondary school. So that's what this looks like here. We have them divided by different card backings here. The physical schools have the black background, the ethereal schools have the white background, and also the iconography on the back as well, if you ever get confused as well. Let's see here. So this is what set. Oh, last token I did not cover. This token here, this introduces a 3rd dice that you can roll once during your turn once you've leveled up to 3. So normally you have 2 dice at your disposal to roll to try to pass your skill checks. When you get up to level 3, you unlock a 3rd dice that can be used for 1 roll either during your turn, or you can save that dice to be added for a block, off turn, stuff like that. So we'll get into all the details of that. So again, this is what setup looks like. We have each of the party members set up slightly different just because of their movement stat, but every player is going to start out at level 1 with 1 action point as well. So that's indicated down here. Then the dungeon setup. So once you've kind of set up your individual play area, you're going to move to setting up the dungeon. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to select which dungeon boss and which dungeon you want to traverse. The dungeon boss that we have selected is Abyss Empress. Abyss Empress comes with their own set of minion cards here. These will be minions and foes that interact throughout the game with the players in the dungeon. And then you're going to build the dungeon itself. So the first tile that you're going to want to establish is the center tile. It's the starting entrance tile here. This has a couple of interesting things on it, which I'll cover in just a moment. Once you've put the entrance tile here, you're going to build the rest of the dungeon based upon mainly one factor, which is each tile has to have 2 unobstructed connected walls. Or, not walls, borders, sorry.
Edges.
Edges, yeah, there we go. So what that looks like here is, again, it's a little bit hard for me to show this on tabletop, but this is technically a legitimate connection, and this is. So this tile here is able to connect, so on and so forth. However, if for some reason you are setting it up, this would be an improper placement because there's not enough border connections here. So this is what I mean by 2 connecting edges, borders, whatever you want to call them. However, I could fix it by doing this, because now this has 2 connected edges, which would be right here and right here. This does not count as one, because this is actually a wall right here. Any of the white lines on the tiles here are to indicate walls. So that's just something to note about the dungeon setup. We went ahead and set it up, so this is a legally set up dungeon. All that good stuff. And then you're going to set up the monsters. Once you have established the dungeon, you're going to add tokens to it now. Each of the minions themselves have a list of stats that are their movement, speed, and their health, very similar to a player card. That's indicated in the upper left-hand side of the card here. Again, I'm going to try to point at it. Movement, health, that's what that looks like. And then within the dungeon, the monster spawns will look like this. So any spot that has a little paw print here, you add a monster and its corresponding health tokens, which we have here. You may see some weird interactions, just as a heads up, with the way that the tokens interact here on Tabletop Simulator. Sometimes the tokens fall through each other. It's a little bit weird. Disclaimer, obviously tokens will not fall through each other in physical. Well, I mean, I guess technically they could, the way that matter and atoms work, but, you know, not likely going to happen. But yeah. Anyways, so that's what it'll look like. So once you have all their established health, the boss or the little minions there, you're also going to add some health tokens. This is some additional opportunity for the party to heal throughout the game. And then we also have some treasure tokens as well. Again, these are indicated with markers here on the tiles themselves. So this is what a dungeon setup will look like. So at this point, we have... yeah, exactly. No breaking the laws of physics, for real. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, a dungeon is going to consist of the entrance and then 6 additional tiles, which is one of these that has 7 spaces on it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, this is what an individual tile looks like. You'll set up 6 of these branching off of the entrance here. And then the entrance has here has 4 starting spots for the players. Right now, this is where we've decided to set up. And then last but not least, I will cover the stress track and the potions that we have here. So the stress track that we have here is a way to increase rolls that come up just short of skill checks throughout the game. So the way that this is going to look is it's going to start out at 1. This is the stress token. This is a communal resource that the party will get to use throughout the game. When a player rolls dice, let's just say I'm over here trying to use dodge roll. Going to roll. I get an 8. I am just short of the 10 plus that I need for this to trigger. You look around, make sure that there's no additional abilities or anything like that that add to... You want to make sure that none of your other party members have abilities that increase your roll before you go to the stress pool. But let's just say right now, there is not any that help me with this. I'm coming up just short of the 10 plus that I need. What I can choose to do is increase stress by 2, increasing the total number of the dice roll from 8 to 10 now, which gets me to the 10 plus. And then, but stress is increased. What happens, the reason that stress is a communal... the reason that stress is a communal resource is once you get to the top of the stress meter, if somebody within the party were to use additional stress, they will take 1 point of damage, but then the stress resets back down to 3. So anytime you would stress to 7 or beyond 6, I guess is the way to say it, you're able to increase stress still, but it's at the cost of 1 health to the party. And the way that that is determined is the player increasing stress beyond the stress threshold is the one that will take the damage with the party.
Hey Jesse, there was a question, sorry, about the
Mhm.
dungeon tile setup that I want to make sure we get to while we're talking through setups. One of our fans was wondering if the dungeon tiles can be rotated for more random setups, and then if you
Yes.
use 7 at once.
Yes, so you can rotate. There's no problem with that. And sometimes you'll have to, right? Say you've started building the dungeon and you realize the tile that you have can't fit where you want it to. You could rotate accordingly to make sure that it does fit. Yeah, so rotation is never a problem. And as for using additional tiles beyond 6, we have not tested it as much for beyond. 6 seems to be the sweet spot. The thing that you'd be getting into at that point is the number of monsters that could spawn. So technically you could use the 1 additional monster that we have here. But say you went ahead and did all of them, eventually you'd run out of monsters to spawn within the dungeon. So I don't know if I recommend going beyond 6, but definitely feel free to build large dungeons if you would like. It's just more of the game was tested for 6 tiles. It plays well, that type of thing. But increasing it doesn't break the game per se. You just run out of the ability to put monsters down as needed.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to. Oh, and then also something to note, if I misunderstood that question, The 7th one you wouldn't want to rotate. This one, if you're talking about the entrance tile here being the 7th one, this is the one that you'd want to build off of. I don't recommend rotating this one with the orientation of the stress bar being at the top. Because of the flexibility of building off of this in any way that you want to with, rotating stuff like that, so on and so forth. So if this was the 7th tile that was in question and I misunderstood that, this would be the one you would not want to rotate. Would be the starting entry. As for the boss, you can also rotate the boss. I don't know why you'd want to do that. No, I'm just kidding. You do select a boss that you'd like to go into the dungeon with, and it can be a different boss each time. So, I think the only other thing I didn't cover is this here. So these are potions that when a player within the party dies or goes to 0 health, the party burns one of the potions up here. This essentially gives them an extra life to come, or to step back up or stand back up. The thing that's important about these is the way that we win or lose this game is we win by killing or defeating Abyss Empress here and all of their little minions. We lose if the party, essentially, if 4 party members in this case, or 3 party members in this case, were to perish during the thing, and we don't have an additional potion to burn to bring them back to life. This would result in party the last condition there. The only other thing I didn't cover is this. So throughout the game, players will level up. So as we kill certain numbers of monsters, the players will level up. The first level up, you increase the number of actions that you have. You draw an additional school ability, and you get to master an ability. What that looks like is I take one of the mastery tokens here and apply it directly to the card, and now I get to read the secondary text and or secondary dice roll as part of the master. So in this case, before I have this ability mastered, I'm going to be I'm going to be performing 2 core strikes. If I have this ability mastered, we will do 3 core strikes. In this case, when I would master dodge roll, if I choose to do so, it drops it down from a 10 plus needed for the roll to a 7 plus needed. So the mastering of an ability comes in multiple forms, just depending on what you want. Some of them are lower dice rolls. Some of them are increased ability action. Not actions, but increased ability output within the game. I think that, Josh, have I missed anything? I think that covers virtually all of setup other than the items, which we don't have to stress about right now. I'll cover that when the time comes.
We do have somebody in the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just say, I think you covered everything. There were just some questions in chat. I was going to note that as well.
Yes. Let me cover one more thing, and then we'll get to those questions. Each player comes with a unique ability attached to their player that can be triggered at different times throughout the game. Mine is Intervene. This says once per turn when a foe would attack an ally, I swap places with that ally. The foe attacks you instead, and I also deal 1 damage to that foe as well. This is... like I said, I would need an 8+ on the skill check to make sure that I do pass this before that happens, but, that's kind of the general idea of it. Okay, so you said we have some questions. What question?
Yes. One of the first questions is, what is the main difference between the 3 base games?
Yeah, so main differences between the 3 base games is each of the base games is going to have a set of 4 playable characters that will vary from base game to base game. We'll also have a different set of dungeons that you can play in throughout, or for each of them, 2 dungeons within each base game, the different bosses, different minions, different items. You'll see some similar items in regards to the increases that they give you, whether it's a healing item, stuff like that, but, unique items across the board, and then, of course, the unique schools as well. Each of the base games will have its own set of 6 schools that will be can be played throughout each of the base games. That's the main differences.
And all of those can be mix and match. So you can play with a dungeon in one game, a boss from a different game, and heroes from the 3rd game with schools from all 3 if you wanted to.
Yeah, and you just need to make sure that if you are mixing, matching, all that stuff, you would want to bring in the corresponding school cards that you will bring. So in other words, like if I bring Lupe into base game 2 or base game 3, the additional, whatever Sorry, if you hear me reference them as base game 1, 2, and 3, that was what we've been calling them internally as we've been developing them. So that might be a small slip up on my end at times. But essentially what you do is you'd bring the School of Blades directly into whatever base game you are bringing Lupe into. You'd want to make sure to bring their primary school with you. And because there's the breakdown of 3 physical schools and 3 ethereal schools, you should theoretically be able to bring Lupe in and still have access to you would have access to the number of schools that you need is what I'm getting at.
Awesome. And we had one other question pop up, and it was just asking about how many players they can play the game with.
Yeah, each base game can be 2 to 4 players.
Awesome. And that's a hard limit at the moment?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and part of that is right now the dungeon entrance spots. So right there, like I said, that's why we have it hard capped at 2 to 4 right now.
Absolutely. And we always encourage house rules if there's a way that you want to play our games or get inspired to try something new. But that is just what we have it balanced at.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, anything. So yeah, please know that anytime I answer questions from the standpoint of balance, it's not that we discourage people from, getting adventurous. Like, by all means, set up a 12-tile dungeon, introduce, multiple minions across multiple games, all that type of stuff. The disclaimer just is, we tested it for 2 to 4 with the dungeon, like within the actual dungeon itself. But we love house rules. Always fun to see what we come up with.
Awesome.
Right. I think
those were the only questions that I was seeing in the chat that were outstanding.
Perfect. All right. So from there, and we'll keep an eye on questions as we go, especially with, like I said, Christina being able to monitor that while we're in gameplay. I will try to walk through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through gameplay for my first turn. In addition to Josh and John will do the same. And then from there, I will try to narrate what is happening. But because of time limits, we are going to try to get through as much of gameplay as we can so you all can see as much of the dungeon and the interactions that we can provide for you. But we'll try to answer questions along the way. And then we also have a small Q&A time at the end. Cool. I think we're ready to go. So I will go ahead and kick us off. So again, each of us are represented by our little meeples here within the dungeon. I'm playing Lupe, therefore I am this little wolf meeple here, and I have to decide who I would like to hunt first. Let's see here. 4 health, 3 health, 3 health. And I'll walk through how the minions interact as well. It'll become pretty self-explanatory after my first turn. So essentially what happens is a player in the party is going to go. Then they're going to control an individual minion. This is determined by setting up the 4 cards that essentially are attached to Abyss Empress. So Abyss Empress has Hatchling, Molten Dungeon, Fangtail, and Scuttle. Each of those will trigger in between player turns. So you stack them all together, you shuffle, and then the player, so player A, in my case, Jesse, goes, and then I will control the top card of this deck here. I then move this card over here. Then Josh will go, so on and so forth. He'll control the next card. Once you've run out of cards to control, shuffle, push them back, and start over. So that's what we do. And then we also have, each of the dungeons has a unique aspect about it that do something different to the players and or people within the party. This one here with the Molten Dungeon is hot in here. At the end of the turn, if 2 or more heroes or foes are adjacent to you, increase stress by 1. So this is one, because of how hot it is in the dungeon, we want to kind of spread out, not add additional heat to the mix. And then, last but not least on this card, is these are traps. Anytime that we're forced to move on to these by either foe movement or us stepping on here because we want to step over it to get somewhere else, we would take a point of damage there. So, one more thing. Sorry. There's one more thing to cover. We are playing within each of the games. You can play on either standard or veteran difficulty. We're going to be playing on standard difficulty for the sake of this play test. What that means is on any of the enemy or foe cards up here, if you're playing in veteran, you would start with the first ability, which is going to be Swarm, and then you would move on to the red text ability. The red text ability down here only triggers veteran mode. So in this case, we're only going to be paying attention to the top part of the card here. Just to offer different levels of entry for players who aren't maybe familiar with a dungeon crawl, we felt like offering a standard mode and then a veteran mode for those that have a little bit more experience with games like this, for an extra layer of difficulty. That looks like. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it is my turn. There are, again, I get 1 action on my turn at level 1. The number of actions that you get per turn match the level of your character. So when I hit the max level of 3 up here, I will have 3 actions to perform during my turn. I can use either of my ability cards for one of those actions. I cannot trigger the same ability multiple times during a turn, unless I have an item or something that says otherwise. The other backup options that I always have at my disposal that can be done multiple times are our core abilities here. Core Strike is a melee attack against an adjacent creature. Core Cheer decreases stress. This is likely going to be used throughout the game if we're up in the 5 or 6 stress markup here. De-stress to allow some more flexibility there for players to use that. And then Core Dash. This here is if you want additional movement beyond your core movement that you have here, which in my case is 3. If I needed to move a little bit further, I'd have to Core Dash to do so. And then anytime a foe attacks us, each of us have a varying... actually, let me rephrase. Each of us have a core block. All of these are slightly different stats across the board. So just because I'm an 8+, 6+, 6+, 10+, as you can see, Veil over here has a slightly different orientation of numbers match their, so slightly different. Just to add some additional layer of feeling and flavor to. Cool. I think that is about it. So I'm going to start my turn by attempting. I'm going to try to lightning.
Good.
Can you remind us what Lightning Sheath does?
Of course. Well, first I will have to move into range. So again, to perform a Core Strike, you have to be adjacent to the foe. This one here allows me to immediately perform up to 2 Core Strikes. So I would still need to be close. I would need to be adjacent in this case. So I'm going to use my movement of 3 to move next to... here.
Fangtail.
Fangtail. I wanted to call him Scuttle for... This is Scuttle. Okay, so I move adjacent here to Fangtail. Now I'm going to attempt to try to trigger Lightning Sheath. The way that that's going to work is I'm going to go ahead and roll these 2 dice. I need a 10+. Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh,
Did
no.
not get a 10+ there. Thank you. Moved this down here because all 3 of my actions. Okay, so I rolled a 3. This is not a very good heroic way for me to start off this attack. So something to note here. I can only increase my roll by 3 with stress. So it caps out at using 3 as a max each turn. So in this case, even if I wanted to bump this up 7, take 1 damage to be able to get that attack off, I'm unable to do so. So I rolled this. It did not match the roll requirement here of Lightning Sheath of a 10+. So I went ahead and missed my ability. And anyone who plays Dungeon Crawls, Dungeons & Dragons knows this, unfortunately, is just the downside of rolling dice. You hope that the dice gods are on your side, but that is not always the case. Yes, so in this case, like I said, if it was closer, I would increase stress. Like say I'd gotten a 7, I would have increased stress by 3 to trigger, but I am unable to do so. So that means I have spent my action point, I've spent my movement, and now my turn has come to an end. So I'm done with my turn. Now I have to control the hatchling. This one first. So at the end of my turn, if 2 or more heroes or foes are adjacent to you, increase stress by 1. In this case, I have a lot of foes around me. I did not pay attention to the it's hot in here, so I will increase stress by 1. Now, we move on to the hatchling here. The hatchling has a range of, let me break down the anatomy of the hatchling card. In the upper left is the number of health that it has, which is indicated by the heart and the 4. Then we also have the boot icon, which is the number of movement they have. In this case, this hatchling has no movement, and then it has a swarm ability, which is a range of 3 indicated by the 3 there in the little crosshair icon. That means it's going to target the player with the least HP, so the player with the least amount of health is going to be targeted as long as they're within 3, and that there will be 2 damage dealt to that target. So let's see. We have a hatchling over here. So first you determine which hatchling is closest. In this case, this is the only hatchling in the dungeon, so this is technically the closest hatchling to me up here. And now we check to see if it is in range of 3 of anyone, which it is not, because it cannot get to me within 3, and it also cannot get to Scout within 3 up here either. And because its movement is 0, it does not get a chance to move within range. Something to note, this is why I chose, even though I was ignoring the it's hot in here, I chose not to go here because it would have put me in range of 3, and then I would have had to deal with the swarm ability. So what happens? Yes, walls can impede range. Yes, correct. Yes, that's a good call out. Yes, correct. So in this case, if we were playing in veteran, it would miss the top ability, but we'd still trigger the red ability under this in veteran. That's correct. Because this didn't, the ability missed, my turn is over. Now my corresponding minion that I was controlling is over, so I go ahead and move this off to the side here, and we pass play along to Josh, who will take their turn. And I will try to, Josh, you can narrate what you're doing, and I'll try my best to follow along.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay, so I think I will start by, I have 2 movement. And my ability Solar Chains deals 1 damage to the closest foe, so I don't actually have to be adjacent to them. But I'm going to go ahead and move here. And then I'm going to do Solar Chains with my action. So I spent 1 of my movement points, and I'm spending my action point to do Solar Chains.
Cool.
Solar Chains is deal 1 damage to the closest foe. Move that foe 1 space closer to you. Ooh, nice. Good roll.
So I rolled a 10. I needed an 8+, so I will deal 1 damage to the closest foe. The closest one being this guy, or this scuttle, 2 away from me.
Cool. So this one here.
So I deal 1 damage to him. I'll just pull a token out from underneath him.
Again, what happened there, so anytime damage is dealt to a minion, you just remove one of the corresponding number of damage tokens from underneath their minion token to represent that damage.
And then I will follow up with Solar Chains, move that foe 1 space closer to you. So I'll drag him here. I still have 1 movement point, so I'm actually going to move away from him. So that way I don't trigger the hot in here and have to increase stress.
Now, if I may interrupt for a moment, your effect there did have a foe movement thing. It moved the foe 1 space closer to you. And
Here's
as
a wall.
Scout,
he was hiding behind the wall
so
for me. So moving him closer to me would actually move this scuttle here.
Very good. Okay, so as I was interrupting,
No, you're good.
Since he was able to use an ability that moves a dude, and Scout's special skill here is called Parting Shot. It says once per turn, when a foe ends its movement on a space up to 3 spaces away, move 2 spaces and deal 1 damage to that foe. Is he 3 spaces away from me? This enemy, it is 1, 2, 3. It is exactly 3 spaces away from me.
Well, I think you're also missing the wall now.
1, 2,
Oh, never
3.
mind.
No, yeah, nope.
Yeah, right here.
This way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice here. If I get a 7, I can do this Parting Shot to help out my teammate on his turn. Here we go. Is it a 7? That is a 7. Nailed
nice.
it. Okay, cool. So that lets me move 2 spaces and deal 1 damage to that foe. I'm all the way up here. Let's go ahead and move me to be like 1, 2. That's
Perfect.
just fine. And then 1 damage to the foe. Boop. There it is.
Nice. Okay.
Cool. Carry on with your turn.
So then I use my last movement point to move over here. And I hit my turn. That's all my movement point, all my action points. So now we'll go up to the monster turn deck. Looking at this at the end of your turn on the dungeon reference, if 2 or more heroes or foes are adjacent to you, increase just by 1. They are not.
1.
Just 1. So then we'll look at the dungeon card in the monster turn deck. The Molten Dungeon does Hot Bubbles. Force each hero to move 1 space, then deal 1 damage to each hero on or adjacent to a space with a trap.
Right.
These are the spaces with traps.
Mm-hmm. We can at least get Jesse
So
on the front
everyone
line.
gets to move 1.
We'll move this way, which away from a trap, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be on or adjacent to them, FYI.
Then I think you need to. You're safe to move virtually.
I'm in the clear. I got nothing to worry about. I'll just go right there. That's fine.
I'll move backwards. Actually, no, I'm going to move to the space you're at.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Cool.
it's not an event deck really. Kind of. I can see why you'd make that connection because the one that you happen to see right now is an event within the dungeon. This is how the monsters take their turn. So now that Josh is done with this card, this moves over to here, and now we'd have Fangtail next. So yes, it's more of a minion deck that does things. Some of those cards in the deck trigger things that happen within the dungeon. No, the attacks. I saw a couple of questions. The attacks can ignore walls. So the cards will say so if that is the case. But no, you have to have an uninhibited path to that monster within range of your ability, and that means no walls in the way. In this case, the reason John was able to get his attack off is he was up here at the time. There's still 3 spaces between, so it's not going directly through a wall. Yes. And then somebody also asked, is this going to be digital or physical? It's going to be physical game. This is done digitally right now because me and the team are all remote, so we demo and play test all of our games on Tabletop Simulator, so that's what you're seeing right now. But no, it'll be a physical game. Cool. So we're done with Josh and then his monster in between his turn, and then we are on to Scout's turn. So John, if you'd like to kind of narrate what you're doing, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. I am Scout. I'm the little green character right here, and I have 4 movement points and 1 action to use. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I was hoping of moving on to a treasure chest, honestly, but this boss is sitting on the treasure chest that I was going to go plunder, so that's not happening. However, I can just make an item with this if I roll right. So let's go ahead and use that for my action. I'm going to move to be if I move to be adjacent to you guys, and I roll something. Wait, what does this say exactly? In your or an ally's inventory. Okay, so I can't give it to an ally until it's upgraded. In its base form, the item can only go to me, so I don't actually have to get next to you guys to give it to you after all. It's in selfish form, so I'm just going to stay where I am and roll for it. I just need a 6. Here we go.
And while you're rolling, I will answer another question real quick and then let you get to this. It's 1 player and or foe per space. What we mean by space is each of the tiles has 7 spaces in it. So there's no problem with multiple people being on the same tile. They just can't be on the same space on that tile. So in other words, I can't share a spot with a foe can't share a spot with me, and I also cannot share a space with another player.
Cool. All right, so I rolled my ability. I needed a 6, and I got a 5. So that is totally within reach of the stress limit. I can just stress it up a bit, so I will. Cranking up stress by 1 turns my 5 into a 6, and this works. So now I get to draw an item, place it in my inventory. So here's the item deck. Grab one of these, and let's see what we get today. We get a Golden Delicious. This is a standard healing item. At the end of any hero's turn, I can heal myself or an adjacent ally for 2 HP, then I get rid of it. So that's always good to have in your back pocket. Cool, cool, cool. That was my action spent. I still have all these movement points, and I know that Fangtail is going to be acting next, so I'm going to use my movement points to defensively position myself so I don't get destroyed by this guy. So Fangtail here, I know he's going to have a movement of 3 and a range of 3. He's probably going to be this guy, and I'm already in range because I'm within range of 2. So I'm going to run away and let my teammates deal with that when
That's
he gets
fair.
back, you know? So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. All the way over here seems safe. I do have 1 movement point left, but that's okay. I'm not going to use it. I'm good where I'm at. Okay, that is it for me. Let's go ahead and check up here. Am I adjacent?
Real quick, I'm going to
t-
interrupt you
yes, sir.
for just a moment because this is something worth calling out since you did have leftover movement. Movement resets at the beginning of your turn. Leftover movement does not carry over, so don't think that you can save some of your movement from this turn, go to the next one, and then same with action points as well. Action points reset at the beginning of your turn. However, non-used action points do not roll over to the next turn. Just figured it was worth it since we had a scenario where you didn't use all of your movement.
Absolutely. So, I checked this. Where I'm ending is not adjacent to 2 or more heroes or foes, so I don't have to worry about increasing stress. Let's look over here and see what our enemy is going to be doing here. There are 2 fang tails on the map, and I have to activate the one that is nearer to me. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they might be equidistant. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're equidistant, and that means I get to choose which one of these does it. Let's go ahead and make this guy be the one who activates. So, as a range of 3, is there anybody within a range of 3? Unfortunately for my teammates, they are. This guy was within a range of 2. And this guy's within a range of 3. So let's see if it says the targeting method. It just says, oh, yes, the target with the most HP. So which of these 2 teammates of mine has more HP? It's the blue guy. Okay, blue guy, you are going to have to roll a block because if you don't, he's going to deal 1 damage to you right now.
It's okay. I'm actually going to attempt to trigger dodge roll, which is when a foe attacks you, move 1 space, block the attack. Yeah, because I have there's a decision to be made here, right? So there's a chance. So each player has a core block listed. In this case, it's a 10+. If let's say I was playing Veil here and I had the 10 or the 9+ instead, I would want to make a decision to. There's a chance that I would just choose to do the core block instead of the dodge roll because it's a slower or slightly lower roll. However, because mine are equal, I'm going to go ahead and use this one to attempt to try to block the damage and also move a little bit as well.
Oh, mind I suggest something?
Yes.
I noticed that our support player here has a helpful defensive ability you might want to tap into instead. Go ahead and look that over and decide.
Actually,
Your
this
call,
is a
of course.
good call. No. Okay, so again, there are some abilities that can be used off turn. In this case, this is one and this is one here. So actually what I'm going to do here is this gives me 2 chances to essentially succeed on this block. So I'm going to go ahead and instead of doing dodge roll, I'm going to attempt a core block. If I happen to fail core block, then Veil can step in here and attempt to help me succeed on said block that I just failed. So I'm going to roll. I need a 10+. I did not, and I cannot stress it enough because it's a 3 max to get to the 10, so I'm going to have to rely here on Unified Defense from Veil to save me from this damage.
Yeah, so that's a triggered ability, which is indicated by the blue eye icon, and I will try and trigger it.
Well, we just need a 9.
Hey,
Beautiful.
nice.
9.
Perfect. Okay.
So you would fail a core block, but you succeed instead.
Nice. So I take no damage, which is good because I would have taken 1 damage there. So Unified.
And that is all there is to it.
Yeah.
If this was a veteran, we would go on to do the red text, but it is not veteran mode, so Fangtail here is done, and next player can go.
Right. We're going to try this again. I'm going to reset my movement up to 3. My action up 1. And you've guessed it, we're going to move to try to do Lightning Sheath to this minion over here. All right.
Cool.
So I need a 10+. Please, dice, please.
6.
So close.
So close. Okay. So again, just short. I cannot increase stress by more than 3, so I will fall just short of triggering my Lightning Sheath here. Again, this is, risk versus reward of taking a high dice roll ability here at the beginning. The upside is that I essentially get to deal more damage than I normally would with a Core Strike. But again, at the same time, it comes with the downside of it's likely that you do not succeed on the roll. And it's also that the RNG dice roll people are not on my side. Appears, but that's fine. We live and we learn.
Do you think you could move though away from him?
Yes. So that was only
then he
one.
can pull this guy here.
I'll just move over, get completely out of the way. And now we move on to Scuttle. So Scuttle here has a health of 4, movement of 4, taste test, target the closest within 2. So I choose which Scuttle to activate, the closest one, which is this one. I am not within 2. 1, 2. I'm actually 3 away. No matter how you cut it, at least 3 away. So he's Scuttle is going to have to move to get closer to me. So Scuttle.
I think I'm within 2 though.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, this is not the one with the most HP again. This is closest. So I apologize. You are within 2, and this would be you. So you are going to have to attempt to. No, he still has to move. He has to move. There's a wall there.
There's a wall right here. Yeah.
So.
Well,
Now you're within 2.
Now I'm within 2.
There we go.
Technically, now both of you are in range.
Yeah, it's okay.
Me too. You can hit any of
Ooh.
us.
No, I think
Closest.
Probably me because I have a low core block, or you because I can use Unified Defense to try and help you.
or hear me out.
Mhm.
Do you want me to intervene? Once per turn when
yeah,
a
you
foe
could
would
do that.
attack you. All right, let's do this. All right.
We can also do.
Oh wait.
John, I think, could also trigger Parting Shot.
Here, let's see. Your intervene is when a foe would attack an ally, swap places with that ally. The foe attacks you. Oh, cool. I was afraid you were gonna have to be adjacent.
No, I think we do this. So if I do intervene
Fantastic.
here, then yeah, I think this is what we're gonna do. So I will intervene.
Cool.
Try to save Josh.
So he's going to attack me. You're using Intervene. You
Nice.
got an 8+.
Yep. So I swap places with
Absolutely.
Vale here. And it says the foe attacks you, and then I'll deal 1 damage. So now I have to try to block against the incoming attack. Boy.
7.
Got a 7.
10.
I
But
would
Could
you are
stress
next
it to
to-
10, or I could try. You have to choose to not stress if you want me to try to Unified Defense.
I'm just gonna stress. I'll stress. I'll go up by 3.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
So that blocks
So
the
that means-
damage. And I deal 1 damage in return to Scuttle here, which I have removed.
And as Josh mentioned, part of this guy's or this little Scuttle's movement happened during their turn, and they stopped their movement within 2 spaces of me, or 3 spaces of me rather. So I'm gonna roll for a 7 and see if I can fire 1 little arrow into this little arachnid. Let's do this thing.
Ooh.
That is a 5. I needed a 7. Do I want to stress it up over the limit?
You would
At some
defeat our
point we're gonna have
first.
to.
Yeah, I think
I
you
think we should do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. So, stress is at 6. I'm going to still press it forward, which means it loops over. I get dealt 1 damage, and I need to elevate it by 2.
Yep.
That turns my 5 into a 7, and I take 1 damage in doing so. There we go. And that lets me move 2 and deal 1 damage. That last damage actually slayed that monster. So now I just need to move 2. Let's just go ahead and go right here. And with my move of 2, it allowed me to go to a spot that has a heart. So I'm just going to go ahead and slurp that up and get HP back for what I just lost.
Perfect.
That's optimized.
So I'll walk
Okay.
through what just happened there, just as a quick recap. So the Scuttle moved within range to attack Vale here. Once it was established that it was attacking Vale, Lupe used Intervene, which is once per turn when a foe would attack an ally, swap places with that ally. That foe attacks me instead, and then I deal 1 damage. I successfully blocked by increasing stress, dealt the 1 damage from this ability, and then we moved on to Scout over here because Scuttle moved within 3 spaces of Scout. Scout was able to perform this Parting Shot, which does 1 damage and allows Scout to move. Because Scout moved onto a spot with a health token, they're able to pop the health token here and increase health, which is what they did because they had lost 1 when they stressed beyond 6. And because that damage was the last damage that was dealt to the minion, and John or Scout was the one that did so, they get to draw an item for slaying the monster.
Woo. Okay. We have a Light Prism Shield. Decrease stress by 1 when you succeed with a 12 or more on a core block. Which one of us has the best block? I think it's Josh, right?
Yes.
I
Let's
do,
give-
but I think Lupe does more blocking than me because of the
Oh,
Intervene.
okay. Well then, would you prefer to have this?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yes. So something that's happening here, anytime, so when a monster is slain, the player who slayed that monster draws the item. However, there is an open discussion on who within the party is going to take that item. The player who slayed the monster can elect to keep it. or they can give it to another team member if it is more beneficial to do so. In this case, we went ahead and gave it to me, which is decrease stress by 1 on a block. When you succeed with a 12 or more on a core block. So this could come in handy, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and use it over here. And part of the reason we went ahead and gave it to Lupe here is because of the intervene action, where it's likely that I'll be intervening fairly frequently to help save allies from harm. And because of that, I'll be rolling more block or core blocks. So cool. That is that. So that was the end of my turn, the end of Scuttle's turn. So then we move this over here. We give it a quick shuffle. Again, the magic of tabletop simulators. I get to hit the R button and it shuffles. You'll have to do this by hand, but be impressed by how quickly we. Cool. That is my turn. That is the monster's turn. So now we are on to Vale's turn.
Also, just note, when we slayed that monster, we put it up here next to
Yes.
the boss card to keep count of how many minions we've slayed. Because once we slay a certain number, we'll level up, and once we slay a certain number, the dungeon boss will appear.
Yes. And then that's also how we track leveling up as well.
So
Cool.
I think, let's see.
Oh, you blend in. I couldn't even find your little meat.
I'm going to move one. So I'll reset my movement points and my action points. I'm going to move one space to be up here. Actually, maybe that's not the best choice. I'm going to move one space to be here.
It's nice.
And then I'm going to attempt Solar Chains again.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Solar Chains is being... Ooh, nice. I need some of your dice rolls. Will you roll on my turn
right?
for me, please?
So I need
Speaking,
an 8+. I got a 10+. What, Christina?
I was gonna say, speaking of dice rolls, we do have a question in the chat asking about a 12 or more on a certain dice roll in general. Do you guys have any ways that we can explain like how those are achievable?
Yeah.
Obviously through different abilities, passive abilities, and items, but just in general.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different ways to... there are a couple of ways to do it. You can do it by... So, like, say I roll an 11, and then I wanted to... This would kind of be a niche scenario, right? Because in this case... I would decrease stress by 1, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to roll an 11, increase stress by 1, and then just decrease it again. However, there are some abilities on like some of the school cards that increase rolls throughout the turn. There are also when you get the third dice in the mix, it becomes a whole lot easier to roll a 12 plus because you can actually trigger it on the 3 dice roll. So it's a lot easier to do the 12 plus rolls when you start to level up a little bit more and you have access to the third dice. But there are ways to increase it throughout the game as well. So it can be cards that are abilities that are triggered during your turn. There's some other environmental things that increase dice rolls in some of the other base games, stuff like that. So.
Awesome, thank you.
And not to mention stress.
Yes, stress as well. Sorry, yes, stress being the main one there, where if I, again, roll an 11, I can increase stress by X number to increase it over a 12 plus. Like I said, keep in mind, this is a little bit of an outlier for that. There's not really an upside to do that unless you're rolling a natural 12 here because you'd increase stress to decrease stress. But there are some additional cards that say on a 12 plus or on a X plus, you get a certain benefit. You could definitely utilize stress to increase it by that much.
Amazing.
So I resolved.
Good. Oh. We're about to say the same thing, you and I.
Chains. I dealt 1 damage to the closest foe. It was a tie between these two, so I chose this one. And then I moved that foe 1 space closer to me, which hopefully brings him in range of Scout's parting shot.
Yes, it does. 1, 2, 3. It brings it directly in range. Let's go ahead and see if I can roll a 7.
We all miss the bards, Delta.
That is a 7.
Ooh,
Woo!
nice. Perfect.
Okay. So I get to apply 1 damage and move 2.
You might as well move closer to the chest that you want.
That's a great idea. Let's go right here. Okay, cool. I am done interrupting your turn. Carry on.
Nice. So then I do have 1 movement point left, and I'm going to use it to get away from these multiple people so I don't trigger hot.
That's a good idea.
So I'll move up here.
Keep in mind, walls separate adjacent players, so
There's a wall.
there is a wall here. So even though they are on spaces that are next to each other, the wall separates adjacency there. So
So at the
What's
end of my
matters for her?
turn, I am not adjacent to 2 or more heroes or foes, so I do not have to increase stress by 1. And then we'll go to the nearest Fangtail. The one nearest to me is going to be the one that we just attacked or dealt damage to. And they are going to target the hero with the most HP within 3 spaces.
Which is
That's going to
me.
be between all of us, and you have the most HP, so he's coming for you.
All right. So I will attempt to roll a core block. Watch me get a 10 now. I can't get it to save my life on Lightning Sheath, but I'll get it on my core block here because it's just
we'll
the
see
way
if
it
you
goes.
snake
I
eyes.
told
Oh, look,
you.
did it.
Told
Look
you
at
it's
that.
going to happen. Manifested that one. Okay.
All right.
So you succeed. We
Succeed.
don't resolve the attack, and then we are done with their turn.
Cool. And it goes over to me.
Turn.
Scout. Yes, I pop my action back up to 1 action point available. Pop my little boots back up to 4 movement available. And I find myself on the map. There I am. Let's see. 1 HP on this one right here. Yeah, that seems like a fine plan. How will I deal it? I could either do my deadly draw for a 10 roll, or I could core strike for an 8 roll. That seems more doable. So let's do that. Ooh, actually, better yet, instead of just walking down here and slapping this guy, I can walk. I'll use a movement point to go here first. Pick up a goodie. I walked onto a chest, and that means 2 items pops out, and I choose between them. I still have the rule of I can give it to a teammate if I like. So let's see here. Celestial Energy. At the end of your turn, if you dealt 3 or more damage this turn, heal yourself 1 HP. Okay, that's not bad. Or the Grappling Hook. Move a foe up to 2 spaces away from you to an open space up to 2 spaces away from you. So you can mess with their movement and their placement, which could be good to activate my power here. So help me make this decision, team. Do we want to give this thing to Jesse, who, with his Lightning Sheath, when it works one of these days, there's a decent possibility that he will deal 3 or more on one
It's
turn.
true.
Because so that's not bad. Or we could just give this to one of you. What do my teammates have some feedback here?
Well, we don't have any other healing within the dungeon outside of this in the healing spots, so this would be consistent healing. But this, again, is also really good for your ability. However, we do have Solar Chains, which is already moving some of the minions throughout the dungeon.
I agree. Let's go with this one. Since we already have Solar Chains here, let's give you that. There. This other one goes into the item discard, never to be seen again. All right, now with that, I think I was here, right? Or was I here? I think I was.
You were here. Well, you started.
I started here.
You
I went right down
yes.
here, so that's 1 movement point. Now I just need to use my other movement points to get here. So we'll go 1, 2. That's 2 more movement points.
Do it.
Boop, boop, used, and then we're gonna go for a standard core strike.
Please slay this monster. I can get
Just
to
an
this
8.
one.
It's got to. I mean, it's an 8. Anybody can roll an 8, right? I mean, that's an 8. All right.
I'm pretty sure we just need a manifest. We need to say what we want to roll every time. It's been successful.
So far, so good. All right. So I was able to slay that scorpion. I get another item for that. Let's see what it is. We have a fairy pendant. When you would use an extra life potion, heal yourself 1 HP instead. Move this item to the bottom of the item deck. So this is a final save type thing. Let's see. Who wants it?
You're kind of a weakling, so let's give it to you. I'm
Thank
just
you.
kidding. I'm just kidding. It should
I mean, you're
actually
not wrong.
probably go to Vale because you have this in your back pocket and I have this in my back pocket. So I think it should go to
It's a
Vale.
fine plan. Let's do that. Cool. Okay. So, other thing, I had 1 last movement point, and then we got a couple of things we need to do here.
Yes.
My movement point will be used to avoid the condition here. I'm too close to my buddies, and so it's going to burn my skin, or increase my stress, rather. So I'm just going to move right here. Cool. Now then, besides that, we have slain our second foe. That signals the first level up of the game. So,
Ooh, yes.
Jesse, if you want to explain that.
Yes. So when you slay 2 monsters is the first time that the party levels up. You'll level up again when you've slain the 5th monster, and that is also conveniently when the dungeon boss shows up as well. The way that leveling up works is each player is going to increase their level marker here on their track. This means that you also get 2 action points at the beginning of your turn. That's the basics things that you do, and then you are going to select 1 card from each of your schools. Again, mine is indicated here on the lower left-hand side of my card. Actually, let me zoom in here real quick. because when I zoom in on the card, it doesn't show you this icon. So I have School of Blades here and then School of Precision here. So I'm going to select one card from each of those along with each of the other players at the table. So I will select one. Both of you can do the same as well.
Yep.
And then a decision is made. I get to add one of these abilities to my repertoire. The way that that's going to work is I'm going to select one of these two, place it over here next to my other abilities, and then I also get to master one of my abilities. So I'll go ahead and give myself one of these mastery tokens. One for you as well, and one for you, just so you two don't forget. All right, so I can do... Actually, I'm going to let the audio... I can't leave this open for a long time, so get your votes in now. Would you like me to use Sweeping Slash, which is... When rolling for this ability, increase your roll by 2 if only one foe is adjacent to you, and I get to deal 1 damage to up to 2 or 3 adjacent foes. Or I can do Ghost Shot, which is deal 1 damage to a foe up to 2 or 4 spaces away, ignoring all obstructions. Something to note here, which is a... which you wouldn't know yet. However... Sweeping slashes are good, in my opinion, when we're fighting minions and foes, because there can be multiples of them. And then the Ghost Shot would be probably better for when the boss monster comes out, because it's going to be a single target at that point. It looks like we have pretty much everyone voted Ghost Shot, which means I'm going Sweeping Blades. No, I'm just kidding. Sweeping Slash, just kidding. We'll put this back on the bottom here, move this over. Right? Yeah, this is the one that we were talking about here that can ignore walls, all that good stuff. So,
Okay, are we all leveled up? I am leveled up.
We are,
Oh,
other than, let me
this as well.
master something. I am...
Yes, indeed.
I want to do this one. I'm going to do... I know I haven't been able to trigger it yet, but eventually I will at some point, and it will help me heal myself with Celestial. All right. So we have leveled up. So again, level up is you increase, you bump your level up token here to the corresponding level. You get to select an additional ability, and then you get to master one of your abilities. I'll get to what happens when we level up a second time because there's one extra step in the mix. So, but we'll.
Good. Okay. So, I am ending my turn here. Despite us getting the second level up, or the first level up during my turn, I don't actually benefit from that second action point. That's only at the beginning of your turn that you get it. So the next player will get 2 action points and going on forward, but for me, no. All right. So I'm ending my turn right here. Am I adjacent to 2 or more heroes and foes? No, I am in the clear, so we don't have to crank up the stress. Then we have a Scuttle who's going to activate. The closest Scuttle to me is going to be this guy right here, 3 away. This little Scuttle here will attack a range of 2. Is anybody within a range of 2? No. So they have to move. They have up to 4 movement. It will go Scuttle to here, because now that it's here, it is within 2 of me. So it can stop right where it is, and it can attack me. So deal 1 damage to the target. If I'm gonna
intervene.
Oh, you're gonna try to intervene?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Might as well deal some additional damage if we can. So
I agree.
8 plus,
8.
Perfect. I got an 8.
Cool.
So
we swap, right?
Yep, gonna go ahead and intervene. That's gonna swap spots with John and I. I am now taking the damage. We're theoretically going to take the damage, so we'll roll again. I need a 10 plus. Please give that to me. Nope.
It's stressable.
It is stressable. However, I'm going to request that Unified Defense come into play.
Unfortunately, you're not the closest ally to me.
Yeah, I swapped spaces now. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I will stress. The reason I am going to stress this is I'm going to take 1 damage either way, right? Like, so I failed the block. I'm going to take 1 damage, so I might as well increase my stress by 3, which results in 1 damage being dealt to me. However, it resets the stress bar a little bit lower, so I am taking 1 damage. However, it's for the greater good. So,
very good.
Went that route. All right, I think that's
done,
yeah. Scuttle's
and we don't have to do the red text, so this moves over here. That is it.
Oh, nice. You already did that. My bad. Ignore me. Okay. Gosh. Oh, it did line back up. I thought it did not stack. Okay. Sorry. It is my go. I now have 2 actions. I have all my movement back. You guys guessed it. I'm gonna try to lightning sheath something.
Okay.
I'm gonna run down
I
here.
believe in you.
I know.
You have 3 stress to work with without
Please.
pain, so
I-
all you gotta get.
The problem is I've just
7.
never been able to roll beyond. Like I've come up just short. It's okay though.
I
No,
expect
you're
it to
gonna
happen
hit a
again.
7 or more this time.
Yep.
Okay,
Sorry,
6.
you
JK.
kidding me? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, okay, the game doesn't want me to heal, and it doesn't want me to use Lightning Sheath. This is fine.
Well, it can't help you. It can't stop you from healing on these, at least.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
So,
I have moved to. I am in fact going to be within 2 spaces. Go up to 2. I could go shoot
But it's
the
up to
eggs.
2, so you can still. Shoot
That's
the
fair. I was
thing
just
stuff you wanted.
deciding if I wanted to try. I was gonna try. Actually, instead, I'm gonna do this.
walk right past and grab a
Walk
chest.
right past him, get us an item, and then I will.
Hey, this could be great if we want to repeat your failed lightning sheath rolls even more. Sorry.
No, I mean this is, to be fair. Yes, I'm gonna do this because why not? That feels like a good. That feels like a good thing. Okay, so we went with this one. This says when you fail an ability, immediately perform that ability again. Move this item to the bottom of the item deck. So what I'm getting at is all of you fine folks are going to finally get to see me use Lightning Sheath next time. Actually, maybe not. It's immediately perform. You're just going to watch me fail 2 rolls instead. I take it back. All right, but now I am going to use Ghost Shot. I can deal 1 damage to a foe up to 2 spaces away, ignoring all walls. Yada yada yada. I don't have to. Intervene does not count as one of my movement points. I do not have to save a movement point for intervene. All right, so I now need to roll an 8+, which means I'm going to roll a 4.
Nailed it.
Called it. Okay,
Well done.
so I'm pretty sure I'm just, as the most damage dealing person, never going to get an attack off.
Maybe use this dice next time.
Right.
It's okay.
It's on a
I'm-
6.
I'm a really good player, so a handicap like this is gonna make it fair.
And I also
That's fine.
don't want to use this on this one. I would prefer to use this to attempt to use Lightning Sheath because it's more output. So I'm not going to, despite me having terrible rolls, the way the cookie crumbles. I did, in fact, get us some additional items. So now we're on to the hatchling turn. Actually, it's me to see if it's too hot in here. At the end of my turn, I do not have 2 or more of anything next to me. Just this little scorpion. Actually, the whole reason I'm not killing these is because they're arachnids or close to, and I'm honoring Christina. So that's actually what you're seeing right
Hey.
Merciful rolls.
Okay, well, so that doesn't trigger. So now we move on to hatchling. It's range of 3, least HP. The only person within 3 is Vale here. So we don't have to determine who is least HP. That is Vale, and I am in fact going to intervene. Let me jump in front of you.
Okay. Yeah.
Haha.
7.
Yeah, I'm gonna intervene. Why not?
Sure. Well, you were zipping all over the place.
I am. It's great. Okay, so now I take the block.
I can try and unified defense. You are closest to me.
Yes, then try to save me. Stress it by
You
3.
guys are, the 2 of you are tied, so I can say
Mhm.
you're closest.
9, 9, 9, 8.
8. I needed a 9, so I'll do a stress +1 to make it a
Nice.
9. So you
Success.
succeed instead.
I succeed on the block, and I still get to deal the 1 damage, which is fantastic. This is the only way I get to deal damage this game is when I intervene.
Seemed like it.
Really good for
Fair.
me.
Excellent. The hatchling is done.
So technically you're correct. I had missed the damage, but it's because it plays out that I have to either successfully, we have to determine whether the block goes through first and then I deal the damage. So the damage will always happen. It's just we follow the order of cards there. Order on the card, I guess is the text. All right. So that it was hatchling. Hatchling went. That's the end of my turn. So now we're on to Vale.
I have now mastered my solar chains, and now no longer have to go for the closest foe. I can go for any foe. So
Very nice.
I'm going to attempt to use solar chains.
Are you hitting this guy or this guy with it?
Oh no.
Or some other
I'm
guy?
going to hit no one with it because I got a 3.
Ah, that's an option too, I suppose. All right.
Let's
That is a
see. So
shame.
then my next thing will be I will go ahead and core attack the scuttle that is in front of me, or core strike the scuttle that's in front of me. Need an 8+ for that.
Please. Yes. Okay.
It's a
Success.
9. I did
Again,
it.
that
So I will
was
deal 1
the way
damage.
that again Vale does that. So they tried to use solar chains. This did not trigger. So Vale went ahead and used Force Strike, which is top.
So I succeeded on that. I deal 1 damage to an adjacent foe, the scuttle in front of me.
Ah,
And
nice.
then I do have 2 movement points, but I kind of feel fine where I'm at. So I'm just going to
Fair.
stick.
Yeah, kind of
Um,
protected from a lot of things other than this one scorpion.
so then Molten Dungeon, Hot Bubbles. Sorry, actually, it should be hot in here first at the end of my turn. If 2 heroes or foes are adjacent to me, but they're not, so I'm good there.
Very
So
good.
then Hot Bubbles force each hero to move 1 space, then deal 1 damage to each hero on or adjacent to a space with a trap. So
Okay.
Well,
I cannot move 1 space.
I am going to move 1 space up to here and heal myself and levitate off the board. Apparently,
That's a fine idea. I will
and then
go...
you're not on or adjacent to a trap, so you're good.
I will just go here. It should be
Cool.
just fine.
Not on or adjacent to a trap, so you are good. That is the environment. Is that the last card? Yep.
Christina, I'm going to check in. Have we missed any questions? I've been trying to keep up with chat best I can, but have I missed anything?
I'm writing down some of them for the end just to keep
Cool.
things moving along, but I do think that there are some that are relevant now, for people that are just joining in. One of the first questions was how many how many minions do you need to slay to trigger the dungeon boss?
Yeah, so I'll cover the whole level up process as well in this because it, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as they say. So when you slay 2 monsters, you level up for the first time. And then when you slay the 5th monster, you level up the 2nd time in addition to spawning the boss monster. So the boss monster will come when the 5th minion is slayed, in addition with the party gets a level up.
Awesome. And then when a minion is slayed, we have somebody asking if they're completely wiped from the board. Do we remove their action cards from the deck?
You do not. So there are times where you will get to a dead action card. Because there isn't one out on the field, you just move on to the next available minion at that point.
Wonderful, thank you. I think the other ones I'm going to hold off until then for the
Cool.
Q&A.
Yeah.
And you'll all see the real purpose of keeping those dead cards in anyway when the boss shows up.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll cover that.
All right, so my turn, shall I?
Yes.
My turn is pretty
It is your
straightforward. Here's what I'm going to do. I got 2 actions. I'm going to start with a core cheer because all I needed for that is a 4, and that will lower the stress, allowing me to maybe stress up my next action I take. Okay, I got a 7. 7 is better than 4. So this drops boop, boop, down there. That's my first action. Second action will be using my upgraded Deadly Draw. That says deal 2 damage to a foe 2 to 4 spaces away. I am here. And this little scorpion thing, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. Let's go ahead and see if I can roll a 10. Come on! That's a 5. That's a 5. That's pretty far from a 10. And I don't suppose anybody has anything they can do to help me with it's probably not. No. I don't see anything that'll help me with that. That's a shame. That's a shame. I missed my shot. Or didn't fire it at all, I guess. Okay. I still have 4 movement points. Do I want to do something with those movement points? So I want to get this HP. I could go get this. No, my HP is already maxed. I don't want to do that. Let's just go ahead and move to out of range of this. Let's just go right here. There. All right, we're gonna call that my turn.
Nice.
Let's see. This is okay because I am not near 2 heroes or foes. They're not adjacent to me, so that is fine. This one, we just did this one, but it got shuffled up again, so here we go. Force each hero to move 1 space, deal 1 damage to each hero on or adjacent to a space with a trap. Everybody move yourself not to be by traps, if you can help it. I'm going to put my guy here. This little blue fella. Oh, ooh, that's very risky.
No,
I mean, if you want
I'll
it.
head this way.
Okay, and yellow guy can't actually move because there's someone blocking. So, that's that. This is resolved. And, oops, I pinged the wrong thing. This is resolved and goes over here. There we are. Jesse.
All right.
Good to go.
I would like to say I'm going to do something different, but I'm not. I'm going to use Lightning Sheath again.
Come on.
Oh no.
So we are going now. Of course, now that I have the undo hourglass, is when I will hit it with like a 12 plus, because that's just the way that it's going to go.
Sure is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I can at least stress this. Okay.
Yay!
Woo. Okay, so I rolled a 7. I needed a 10, so you guessed it. I went ahead and stressed it by 3 because I want to finally get Lightning Sheath off. So we will do that. I stressed. Now I get to, this is the best part though, is I now have to roll 3 more times, but that's okay. So we've seen how my rolls go. All right.
With
so
these 3, it's just that number. Though,
yes.
at
Yes.
least.
So something to note, the way that this works is it allows me to perform 3 core strikes. I now have to still roll for each of those core strikes. But this is, still going to, I think I will likely defeat this poor scorpion. So we'll see. Snake Eyes. Just kidding.
5. Needed 8.
I'm going to let this one slide for now. The reason being is I only need to hit the scorpion twice, so it's okay. I'm not going to stress. Actually,
right.
this one is
First one
stressable. I take it back. I'm going to stress.
Okay.
So,
the sure
so 1, 2, 3. I have to stress 3 there, but I do get the first core strike off. So there's that. Now we'll try for
And
the
you
second one.
Lose
Oh, yes,
1
thank
HP
you.
because you stressed over. There it goes.
I will also stress this one because that's pretty close to an 8, which is the last health that this little creature needed to be defeated. So we remove them from the dungeon, and I also free up Vale to not be stuck. Well, Vale wasn't really stuck in there, but that's fine. I'm going to pretend I
I'm
rescued
just so
them.
slow, it's been worth just staying here.
Okay, so that was my first action. So I'll bump this down. Oops, wrong one. I put this down. Now I am going to attempt to ghost shot someone. I need to move to here. Now they are within range of 2, a foe up to 2 spaces away, ignoring all obstructions. This is one that I am able to ignore the wall in this case. Normally I would not be able to make this shot if it didn't say that, because it's actually 1, 2, 3 spaces away, but because I get to ignore the wall, it's just 1, 2 spaces away instead. So I am going to ghost shot. I need an 8+. Nope.
Oh,
That's
no.
a little bit disappointing. Okay.
Reroll
do you
it, do
want
it.
to
Okay.
hourglass this one?
Sure, why not? We will hourglass.
It's an 8. 8 is totally rollable.
We're going to hourglass. Okay.
Okay, 6. That's,
Well, this is fine,
Okay.
because I will have dealt 3 or more damage this turn, so me increasing stress again by 2, I do take a damage, but I'm going to get that health back anyways at some point.
good thinking.
So I'll remove
Also,
it for
if
now.
you
Oh,
at
yes.
some point in your turn on an adjacent space to me, then I can
True.
try and heal you.
Oh, okay.
By healing aura.
I think I have
We've been pretty
moved
spread
too
out,
much
so we
this
haven't seen that
time.
yet.
I'm down. I only have 1 move. Hourglass. Yes, sure. Sorry, I should have explained this. So I missed Ghost Shot. I went ahead and used Hourglass here, where it's the undo Hourglass. When you fail an ability, immediately perform that ability again. Move this item to the bottom of the item deck. So it allowed me to essentially roll for Ghost Shot again. But now this gets flipped and added to the bottom of the item deck.
Technically, all of these are at the bottom of the item deck.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay,
Very good.
that is all of my actions. I've used 2 actions. I've used all of my, haven't used all of my movement. I am going to go ahead and move here, though. No, wait, the Molten Dungeon just without being hurt. So I will stay there.
I think you're in range of this thing, though, if that's a
Oh,
consideration.
then I will move over to here.
And you didn't pull the damage.
Oh,
off
thank you.
that,
Yes.
did you?
Yes. Did. All right. So down to 2. Ooh, man, we actually be pretty close to summoning a dungeon boss soon. All right. So now I handle hatchlings. Hatchlings swarm within range of 3, least health. There is nobody within range of 3 because I moved out of range, so the hatchling does not get to trigger their ability. And we move on to the next player's turn, which is Vale. Oh, and I should have said none of us, or this didn't affect, so I just skipped over this. There was nobody standing next to me, so I did not have to worry about hot in here. Vale, take it away.
Yeah, we need to slay 2 more enemies.
Wait a minute. You ended your turn here?
Yeah.
Oh, and you were. Oh no, you
No.
were here. Got
was
it.
here.
Got it.
I was
I didn't realize you had moved yet. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, my bad.
Getting
So I'm
excited
gonna
about something.
go. I think 1, 2.
Oh yes, thank
my-
you, thank you. Good call. I had kept that in my hand to do that, and then when I removed the other one, I did heal from the celestial energy. Sorry. Let me refresh on that as well, since I skipped over that. I had done 3 damage. This does not have to be 3 damage to a singular target. It's just as long as you dealt 3 damage, which I had dealt 2 to the first minion that I had slayed, and then 1 to the second minion I attacked, resulting in 3 damage. So I did get to heal 1. Thank you for that call out.
My first action, I did a core cheer. I rolled a 5. I need a 6, so I increased by 1 to get a 6, and then decreased by 2.
So again, core cheer. When you core cheer, you decrease stress by 2. So every player. Oh no.
Was that solar
My
chains you were rolling
second
for?
is an attempt to do solar chains. Yeah,
Oh dear.
and I got a 4. I needed an 8. So I will not be doing that. And that's the end of my turn.
Cool.
The closest scuttle will go. That is this one.
yeah, it's the only
Range
one.
2, you are in range already,
Look at
so that scuttle will target you.
Okay.
I don't know if Jesse wants to attempt to intervene.
Yes,
but
You do? Okay. there
I
you go.
do want. Of course, I want to intervene.
Take
I
up
want
the
to save my
dice.
ranger friend here. Nice. Okay,
that
I
looks pretty good.
intervene.
Okay.
Boom. Now
Cool.
I have to roll to block this, which I do not. But
Oh,
that's fine. That's fine.
no.
That's
Okay,
fine.
1 damage.
I
Just
will
one? Yes.
attempt and let unified defense then. No, wait, sorry, you're not the closest.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm there. Oh,
That's okay. I still have 2 health
damage.
left. We haven't used any potions yet, so we're not.
I agree. So this is done. And it's
That
over.
finishes. And yeah. Did you deal the 1 damage from your intervene?
1 damage to intervene. Boom. Done.
Okay.
Then it is your turn, Charles.
My turn. 2 actions, 4 movement points, and I want to blast this egg sack because it is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. But before I do, maybe I'll be a nice neighbor and bring down the stress for my teammates.
We need it.
Pretty much a guarantee. Let's go
With
for
everything
it. Let's go for
stressable, it makes sense to want to.
it. Yeah, we're gonna roll for a core cheer. That is
Oh.
a 5. I needed a 4, so that succeeds. This comes all the way down to
Nice.
the bottom. And my second action point will be using Deadly Draw. I need a 10. If I have a 10, it'll deal 2 damage to this thing, and it'll be out of here. So here we go. Give me 10. 10. 10! That is an 8. But, hey, that's fine. I just did the core cheer and stuff, so I will use the stress that I just got back to pump it up to a 10. So this hits. That is 2 damage for the egg sack. 1, 2. It is gone. And an item pops out. The item is a Zen Serpent. Decrease stress by 1 when you succeed with a 12 or more on a core strike. In a perfect world, Jesse would land these all the time with that lightning sheath. Do we want to try it?
Yes, because now that I
Let's do
have the Zen Serpent, this means that I will now start.
Very good, very good. All right.
Self-belief.
Let's see here. I used both my action points. Those are done. I still have movement points. Do I want to move somewhere? I need to get equidistant from this guy to have this guy be equidistant from me as it is to this guy, I think. Because his unified defense is closest ally. So if I can make myself be the same distance away, it could trigger on either one of us. So he is 1, 2, 3 away. I am 1. Let's go 2, 3 away. We are now equidistant from this guy. That's just a defensive measure for very, very, very clever players like myself. And that is it. Let's see. This thing. Is there 2 or more heroes or foes adjacent to me? Not at all. I am in the clear. Fangtail is found all the way down here. Range of 3. Is anybody in range? No. So movements of up to 3. This thing goes 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately for me, that puts it in range. So it will be attacking me now.
I'm intervening.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to keep doing that's you're my hero. Yeah. Wow. All right, that'll do
It's
it.
the one thing Jesse can succeed on.
Yeah, it's the
so-
He's
only
very good
thing
at
that I
that.
have apparently any ability to roll for. So this is
Subtracting
um,
one, or wait, you have to block. Then we'll subtract.
yeah.
1
So
HP, right?
I now have to attempt to block, which I do.
A 12. Wait,
it's
doesn't
not
one of
on
these matter?
No,
Oh,
it's on a core
no.
strike. I
He
got
did
rid
have
of that item.
No. All right. Well,
Nice,
whatever.
Okay.
The
That's
block is
fine. That's
successful.
fine. This is okay. I
1
hate it
HP
here. No, I'm just kidding.
Is, 1 HP is
yeah,
peeled
1
away from
HP.
this.
Thank you.
There
Did
we
you
go.
you did it? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Right.
Cool. That is that. This thing is resolved. It moves over here. These shuffle, and the next player, which is Jesse, gets to go.
Thank you. I'm going to answer a couple of quick questions that I did see that relate directly to gameplay. The stress system allows you to increase your roll by X number. You can only increase stress by a max of 3 each turn, so you can only ever increase a roll by 3 in regards to the stress system. There are other ways to increase rolls, but for the sake of the stress system, you can only ever increase by 3. Somebody asked, do walls just block movement and adjacency? They're there for other things as well. There are some cards that give you bonuses for being adjacent to walls. However, the only thing that it disrupts is paths to enemies. So if a wall ever disrupts you from being within range, you'd need to move within range, so on and so forth. And I think that was...
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Cool.
That sounds right.
Perfect. Okay, so we're done with John's turn, so now we're on to my turn, and you guessed it, I'm going to go Lightning Sheath somebody.
I have a proposal for you.
Oh,
It's going to have to
What
be
if
a
you
really
didn't
strong...
Lightning Sheath and you just do both your actions as core strikes.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair because I only need to
Play
do 2
it,
damage.
and then the boss gets all of your Lightning Sheaths.
Okay, that's fair. You've convinced me. Okay, so I am instead, my party talks some sense into me, and instead of doing the stubborn thing, which would be to Lightning Sheath when I don't need all 3 of the core strikes, I'm instead just going to core strike twice with my action. So I started up here. I moved 2, so let me adjust my movement down accordingly. Now I'm going to attempt to core strike this Fangtail right here. So I need an 8+. That would deal 1 damage adjacent. Barely.
6.
I will increase by 2 to deal 1 damage.
Cool.
And then I will time.
Hey!
Haha! Oh, look at this.
And that actually did this.
Yes, I get to decrease
Nice.
stress. Okay, so a couple of things happened. I hit my core strike. I got a 12+. This says decrease stress by 1 when you succeed on a 12 or more with a core strike, which I did, so I bumped stress down. That did consume my last action, though, because I had 2, but this is the final... Move it that way. This is the final... Okay, there we go. That is the final health for Fangtail here, which does a couple of things. You guys get to see the dungeon boss come out, and we get to level up.
Woo. Leveling up first.
Cool.
Right.
Yes, level up first. So level up happens immediately, and then we'll handle the dungeon boss. So again, for those of you that are coming in late, the way that level up works is each player gets to select 1 card from each of their schools. So you draw the top card of each school deck here. In my case, I'm drawing from Blades and Precision, which is indicated here on the bottom of the card. I will select one of these if I choose to do so. And I will replace one of my existing abilities, or I can leave the abilities as is, not select another one, and then just discard both of these. Want Final Cut, or do I want Weak Spot? We all know that I'm not using Dodge Roll. I have Intervene, so we're going to Final Cut the boss. Right. See. All right. So again, I drew 2 abilities, one from each of the corresponding schools. I went ahead and selected Final Cut. When I select Final Cut, I select an ability that it replaces. Within my little repertoire of abilities here, I went ahead and replaced Dodge Roll, took Final Cut, and now I also get to master a second ability. Something to note, if you... yes, you can only have 3 abilities. Something to note, if you decide to discard a card that you have already mastered, you do not get that mastery token back. Take that into consideration when we are doing stuff like this. I think I want to do this. I think master cut to drop it down to an 8. Perfect. I level up. We get access to our third dice. This is a triggerable token that allows you to add a third dice to your roll once on your turn. Something to note here is I can keep this extra dice. To help me with blocks on my off turn as well. So sometimes if you're taking a lot of damage and your abilities are easy to roll, this is like a little tidbit of like in-game knowledge. You can choose to save that for a core block later to help decrease the incoming damage. All right, once the 5th monster has been slain, or a minion has been slain in the dungeon here. Oh, actually, when you lose your HP, all of your HP. Sorry, I'm looking at a question. Give me just a second. All of your HP, 5 potions. Okay. What's the question?
Yeah, that's me. I was just answering a question.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I did not mean to. I thought I would.
Oh no, you're totally fine. People were just wondering what happens when, especially as we're entering the dungeon boss territory, what would happen if a player loses all of their life?
Yeah, you would burn one of your extra life potions here. So essentially what happens is, say I am reduced to 0 HP, all of my HP is removed, I go ahead and burn one of these. Again, communal resource for the team here. So once your team is out of these potions, your team loses. But anyone who perishes on your team is able to revive themselves with the potion here. And the way that works is you come back to life with all of your health. So you would actually heal back up to your maximum. In my case, it would be 4, and then I would remove one of the potions. All right. All right.
Was it the end of your turn, Jesse, or did you want to move your last movement point?
I'm going to try to get us... Well, actually, no. I need to get ready to fight them off.
Pretty close.
Boss.
Okay, so we have...
The dungeon boss arrives at the end of your turn.
Yes, so when the dungeon boss arrives, the way that works is you remove any unslain minions. In this case, something to note here, you are welcome to, if you can, slay the 6th minion even after you level up. I could have attempted to do that if I was close enough. It would get us an additional item. Because I'm not in range, we're not going to entertain that right now. So what happens is any unslain monsters are removed from the board. Their health tokens are just added back to the pool in case we need to dip into those at some point. And then you establish the boss monster's health. The health is listed on the top left side of the card there. In this case, Abyss has 30 health. And then Abyss Empress shows up in the dungeon, which is the dungeon entrance. So Abyss Empress will show up here. And then this is what happens. This is why removing the cards from this deck here is important not to do. So when this happens, we flip this deck over.
I don't know why.
I don't know why that...
I'm just going to search and make sure.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah, it's just being
difficult.
Awkward, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird. So this is a glitch, by the way. Tabletop Simulator is weird. Sometimes they get the wrong card backing for some reason. So if you see something odd like we just did, thought maybe we'd accidentally put in a different monster card, but we had not. It would have been odd considering the card was cool. All right. So the way that happens now, the reason that you leave them in there is because, yes, you are correct. I need to get a item for slaying that last minion.
I could use that.
Perfect. Yeah, go for it.
Thank you.
All right, let me highlight this. So root boots, this is increase your roll by 1 when performing an active ability if you have not moved this turn. So this will be good with Scout here not needing to move often to get off a lot of their abilities. All right, so we've spawned Abyss Empress. We've all leveled up. We've cleared out the dungeon. Again, keep in mind the minions are the only thing that is cleared out of the dungeon. Leave any unused chest tokens and or health tokens. They remain. Team can utilize those still. Empress has spawned here at the beginning or at the entrance of the dungeon. You flip over the in cards to the backside where it is now Abyss Queen abilities. So that's why it's important not to remove them from the deck, is because you want to have all of Abyss Queen or Abyss Empress's abilities in play. Cool. Okay. That was the end of my turn. I will. Yeah, that's it. So now I do the first I check the dungeon, the Molten Dungeon. It's hot in here. There are no people with more than 2, or with 2 or more around them, so we're good here. And then we do Silk Lasso will be the first ability that Abyss Empress is going to try to trigger. This is target the furthest, which is, let's see, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, so that would be Veil there. Yep. Range of 4 furthest, move the target to an open space closest to Abyss Empress and deal 2 damage to that target. If I intervene, I run the risk of perishing.
That's true.
But
I don't mind blocking it.
Okay, that's fair.
Cool.
I guess
Roll for that block.
I'm going to use my power roll token, so that will let me roll a 3rd dice.
The reason that this is a good time to use that is because the power token resets at the beginning of your turn. So Josh is rolling just before his turn is about to start, aka essentially back-to-back triple dice rolls if he wants to.
That was
so I got a 10, I needed a 9+, I succeed, so I block the attack.
Okay,
very
so
good.
The attack is blocked. We do not perform the red text because we are not in veteran. We move this over, and now it is Josh's turn. So you reset the
At
power
the start
token.
of my turn, I regain my action and movement points. I reset my power roll token. And let's see here. I'm going to go 1, 2. And I'm going to attempt Solar Chains.
Beautiful. I like the sound of that, because that'll enable me to do Parting Shot if it works.
Nice.
That's a 9. I need an 8, so I succeed. Deal 1 damage to any foe and move that foe 1 space closer. So 1 space closer and deal the 1 damage to them.
Very good. Since that enemy was now moved and they end their movement within 3 spaces of me, I can roll a 7 to get off a little shot here. Let's see if I can pull it off. Free damage.
So, Bill, to address that, you may have missed the beginning of the stream. There are 2 difficulty modes. We have Standard and Veteran. We're playing in Standard right now, which is the easier of the 2 difficulties. So that's why you're seeing a slight ease in gameplay right now. It's because we're not triggering. So each of the abilities for both the minions and Dungeon Boss have 2 effects on them. The second effect is only triggered in Veteran. So it's making it a little bit easier. We wanted to make sure that we could get through all of the gameplay that we wanted.
So I am attempting a power roll for Sun Spear. I need a 9+. I got 5, 6, 7. I'll go ahead and go 8, 9.
Perfect.
To deal 2 damage to a foe up to 5 spaces away in a straight line. So my straight line is obviously right in front of me, and they're within range. So I deal 2 damage to Abyss Empress. I'll take one of these 3s and flip it to a 1.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
and
the tokens are double-sided here. It's a little bit hard to see. One side represents 1 health. The other side represents 3. So we have a nice stack of 30 health here going on.
And as my 3rd action, I will do a Core Strike.
Okay.
Looking for an 8+. That's a 7. I'll go ahead and go 8.
Okay.
I got your health for you.
Deal 1 damage to them. Instead of taking off the 1, I'm just going to turn a 3 into 2.
Okay.
That is my 3rd action. So, and I've used all my movement points. So I will be done. And Abyss Empress will go.
Each target within 3.
Yes. Good question there. On Silk Lasso, it says deal, move the target to an open space closest to the Abyss Empress. Even though we blocked the damage, like that's the main thing, it doesn't trigger the movement either. So essentially, you don't listen to any of the effect if you succeed on the block. It essentially negates the effect from it.
Yeah, if you block the attack, you don't resolve any part of their attack.
Yeah. I realized I kind of skipped over that because the damage wasn't dealt, so the movement never happened either. I just wanted to go back to that. Sorry.
Fine clarification.
Okay, so continuing, we have that was the end of my turn. Now we're going to the Abyss Empress, doing invisible webs targeting each hero within range 3. So that's actually going to be all of us. We'll start with me and then go in turn order.
Okay.
So I will do a core block. Need a 9, got a
Success.
9. I succeed. So then
Nice.
the
Okay.
attack against you.
Okay, here we go. My block is at an 11, and I rolled an 11. Woo! Got it. Okay,
Sweet.
success. There you go.
Attack
Your turn.
against Lupe.
Oh boy.
You are
Or
closest
I
to
can
this.
go ahead and try Unified Defense because
Yeah,
I set
why not?
myself up to be equidistant.
Yes, great idea.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
I
That's
do not
okay.
get it though.
Oh,
I
no.
take 1 damage. That's not
It is.
dead yet.
That
Looks like
is it. So
cool.
it will go to
Oh, I guess I could have triple
My
diced,
turn.
but that's fine. I'll save it for my death blow here in a moment. To attack me too.
Okay, I got some stuff going on. I'm next to the guy starting my turn, and I have root boots. So if I don't move, the thing that I do gets a +1 to it. I also have spin cycle, which says at the start of my turn, I can deal 1 damage to each adjacent foe if I roll a 9, and that is a triggered effect, not like an action effect, so technically it doesn't cost an action point. So I'm going to roll for this, and instead of needing a 9, I need an 8 because of this.
Do it.
And yeah, I'm just going to use 2 dice.
I think that's good.
Here
You've
we
got
go.
an 8. You can do this.
I think so too. That is a 6. But
Okay.
hey, that's fine. I can go 7, 8.
Nice,
Crank
nice.
that up. That hits. So that's 1 damage for the boss. But that did not cost any of my action points. I can't use this again at all, but you know, that's fine. While I'm still standing next to the big bad, I will... Do I want... So these... Let's see. Deal damage to 2 or more spaces away on your turn immediately. End your turn and increase the damage dealt by 1. I want to make sure I use that at the end. But it's 2 away. Yeah. Here's what we can do.
Perfect.
Here's
What
what
are we
we do.
doing?
We can core attack. We're gonna core strike while I'm right next to him. Because again, that still gets a +1 because I haven't moved. So here we go. Rolling for that. First action. That is a 10,
Nice.
technically an 11. So that succeeds for a core strike. That is 1 damage for the boss. Action point is used. Okay, now I am, let's see, 2 actions left. I know I want to finish with this being my final. Let's go ahead and either drop stress or hit him again. Do you guys want me to try and drop stress a bit, or do you want me to go ahead and try it for another core strike?
damage.
Damage? So
yeah,
be it.
let's do it.
Core strike, here we go. I still get a +1 to this because I still haven't moved on my turn.
Oh no.
And I need it because that's a 4, making it a 5, and
Oh.
I needed a 8. So I could still do
I think
it.
you
I'll hurt
do it.
myself in the process.
I think you do it. You have this at the very least,
agree.
so I think you overstress.
Plus, I got something else up my sleeve here. I'm going to move in a second, so I can just pick that up.
Nice.
So I will
Oh,
overstress. All right,
perfect.
so that is a 5, and I needed a was it an 8?
An 8. Yeah,
Yes.
so we go 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much.
I
And
took your
somebody
health
grab my
already. Yep.
HP. Appreciate it. Okay. Cool. Then I am going to, let's see, that was that. I'm going to move 1, picking up this HP in the process.
Nice. Heal
So
yourself
that
back
heals
up.
me a little back up. And my final thing I'll do is I will fire off the deadly draw. I need a 10 for that, so I will be using my triple roll for that. Here we go. Come on. That's a big number. All right.
That was a
That's
6.
fine. So that succeeds. I get to deal 2 damage to a foe 2 to 4 spaces away. He is indeed 2 spaces away. And when I deal damage to a foe 2 or more spaces away on your turn, immediately end your turn to increase the damage dealt by 1. So instead of the deadly draw dealing 2 damage, it will deal 3 damage. So one
Hey,
of these
look at
peels
that.
away, and my turn is donezo.
Perfect.
Let's see. This thing here, I am not eligible to take pain from that or take stress from that. I'm good. So we'll see what goes on here. Eruption. Deal 1 damage to each hero up to 2 spaces away from a space with a trap. Force each hero to move 1 space. All right, let's check all our heroes. I am right next to one, so I will certainly be taking damage. This player will be taking damage.
And I sadly perish. So this is when we get to see the first potion used. Okay, so that was the last damage that I could take before I need to pop a potion. So what happens is I remove one of these potions from the stack here, put it off to the side, wherever you want to put it. We'll move it over here with the other tokens, and then I gain all 4 of my health back, and now we are down a potion. So if we essentially burn through the other 2, and then one of us perishes at that point, then we lose.
All right. Now then, for this trap thing, did we all sustain our damage? Because each of us is 2 away or less, unfortunately.
Yes.
So we all. You got yours.
As long as you did.
Yes.
I now have done mine.
You need
Very
to.
good.
Okay.
And now that our damage is sustained, each of us has to move 1 space.
Yep.
So
I'm going to move this way.
I'll go next to the bad guy, just like that. Because then I might get a shot off on my spin cycle.
The minions are represented by tokens.
This is done. And next player is Jesse. Have some dice.
No, yes, yeah. You have to remember, so permadeath happens after 3 potions have been burned, so it's not like the first death from that. Well, I guess it could technically be if I'm playing really bad and I consume all 3 life potions and then poor John dies one time and then consumes, or there's none to consume, then yes, technically that would have resulted in a death. But you really get 3, you really get 3 potions.
Cool. This was moved over. You are good to go.
Let's see. Okay, let me decide here. What do I want to do? Oh, guessed it. Lightning Sheath.
Are you next one?
I am now.
Cool.
So I'm going to move up to there, and I'm going to Lightning Sheath. And why not? I'm going to triple dice this.
Come on, 10.
Barely.
Hey, that worked.
Barely.
All right.
I needed all 3 dice. That's really sad. That's okay. Now I get 3 core strikes. Let me flip this. Actually, let me bump everything. I've moved 2, so ignore my terrible token management. Okay, so I succeeded on Lightning Sheath, so now I'm going to do 3. That's 1 damage.
Success.
2 damage.
Success.
3 damage. All right, so
Nice.
I need to just flip those over. Now I have another ability that I can trigger. I'm going to go for Core Strike for action number 2. I hit that one as well.
Cool.
And now for my 3rd action, I'm going to Final Cut, which is very similar to what you did. Deal 1 damage to an adjacent foe. You may immediately end your turn to increase damage dealt by 1. So I'm going to, I need an 8+.
6.
I did not get that, but I will increase by 2 to deal 2 more damage. So we'll flip this over to a 1 again. That is all of my actions. That's all of my... Oh, I have 1 more movement.
Ooh, can't do that.
Oh, my
since
turn
Final Cut-
ended immediately. You're right.
Righto.
I have to pay
No
the
worries.
price for my not paying attention. I'm going to have to increase stress by 1. This is a series of unfortunate events right now. That's fine, though. I can take the damage. All right. So that's the end of my turn. That's all my actions. It's hot in here does trigger because I have 1 hero and 1 foe next to me, equaling 2. So I increase stress by 1, which sadly takes health away from me. Because this is where the series of unfortunate events happens, is I technically, my turn has ended, so I didn't get to benefit from this because I was already at full health. And now, of course, that I have ended my turn, I am dealt 1 damage, and I cannot heal.
That is a
He
tragedy.
crumbles. Okay, so that is my turn. So now we are doing Devour. Target the furthest. Move to the open space closest to the target, deal 1 damage to that target, and deal 1 damage to the closest other hero. That would be Veil down here. You guessed it, I'm going to intervene. Which does work.
Cool.
And now, this Empress is attacking me, so now I have to try to block. Which I do.
Dang. Nice.
So I avoid the damage, and we don't have to damage the other closest hero. So that is done. We move on to Vale's turn. I will kind of reset your stuff while you're doing the deck.
Yeah.
Cool.
The 2, please.
You are good.
Okay.
You could consider
I
ending your turn
will-
adjacent to Scout, by the way, so Scout can feed you to the delicious apple.
True, I wouldn't mind feeding that
That's
horse an
fair.
apple if you want me to. You just gotta ask.
We'll see. I'm going to start with Sun Spear. I need an 11 plus, and I'm going to use all 3 dice for that in my power
Token,
roll. Token.
Track health. No,
Success.
it's
12.
done by tokens here at the bottom of your. We just put them at the bottom of the card to avoid covering any of the art but yes.
That's my first action. My second action will be a core attack.
Okay. 7.
7. I needed an 8. I'm going to make it an 8.
Nice.
Okay.
And then my third, actually no, then I'll move here. And my third action will be Solar Chains.
Yay. If that works, then I can do
I
something.
don't know these two.
Come on, 8. That is a 3.
That is not an 8.
Oh, no.
So I will not do that. Dang it.
Alrighty.
That is the end of my turn. And Abyss Empress will go with their Silk Lasso. They're farthest in range 4. That's going to be a tie between the two of us. I know you could intervene, but I think if you fail, then she'll attack me. So let's just have her go after you.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I do think it should just. Yeah. Okay.
So she is attacking you with
8. Is 8 enough?
It is because I can stress by 2. So I
very
needed a
good.
10. I rolled an 8 and I stressed by 2. No damage is dealt. Boom.
Very good.
John, your turn. Scout.
Righto. 3 actions, and this refreshes, and I'm right next to him. Perfect. So that means I can slap him with the spin cycle. Let's go ahead and roll for that. I need a 9. Come on, give me a 9.
You
Oh,
can have a
should
max
I
of 2 items in your inventory at a time. If you were ever to get a third, you just select what one you would like to discard.
8.
Is there any difference between advantage, or is there difference advantage? You can keep going, John. I'm reading some
Yeah, I'm
questions.
trying to decide if I want to take damage for this or not.
There are each of the classes or schools play a little bit differently. You'll see some that result in the
let's
same
go ahead.
number of damage done, but there's typically some precursors to how that damage is dealt that feels either more physical or more ethereal. So there is a little bit of flavor in each of the schools for sure, and they do play a little bit different.
Wait, did I take this guy's HP? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. This is where
Then 1.
yeah.
He gets 1. There we go. Okay, so now we are going to let's go ahead and core strike because I still haven't moved, and so these boots are gonna get me some mileage there with a better roll. I need far less than that is what I need. So that's a success. That does a damage. This turns into one of these and one of these. Next thing we'll do is, I suppose, another core attack. Core strike. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead. Come on. Just need another 8. That is fantastic.
Nice.
The best thing anybody's ever seen. So that's damage for him. There we are. This scrolls down. Boop, to my final action. Now I move. Oh, but wait, things are a little different. If I move to be in the position I wanted, I could do 3 damage to this guy potentially, but I wouldn't be next to you and be able to benefit from your heal, nor would I be able to feed you an apple. So I think I'm gonna have to give up on my big dreams of using Deadly Draw. I'm just gonna walk over to you. 1, 2. And I'm going to finish this up with a core strike. That core strike will still be able to deal 2 damage if it lands because I can end my turn right here. Oh dear! But if I do that, then I'm ending my turn and I wouldn't be able to feed you the apple. Okay, let's think.
The apple is at the end of your turn as well, so I think it still counts.
Oh, excellent. Then I can slot it in priority at the same time, or slightly before it, or whatever. Yeah. Cool. Let's do that then. Rolling for another core strike. Here we go. Hey, fantastic. Damage, 2 damage goes to the big spider because of this.
Nice.
And
And-
that is it. Oh yes, the apple feeding. We're gonna feed the apple to my best buddy because Vale is adjacent to me. So let's go ahead and do that.
And
You
then
could also eat it if you wanted.
you need to
Nah,
do
you
this.
Go ahead because I,
Yeah.
Because
that's
I get
true.
to because of this. See, I'm also ending adjacent
Yeah.
to Vale, and so Vale gets to roll. If Vale rolls an 8, I will get a free little HP.
Yeah.
So make me
Ending
proud.
your
Come
turn
on.
adjacent to
Make
me,
me
so I'll
proud.
try a healing. Ooh,
Make
healing
me healthy.
aura.
That does
No.
not make me healthy.
3
and
is
proud.
not an 8. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. We still got potions. That's if I die on the field, it's all right. So be it. Okay, that is
If
the
I
end of
die
my
on the
turn.
field.
I am unfortunately next to 2, an enemy and an ally, so this will crank up the stress by 1. Not that big of a deal. And then Abyss Queen will be using Devour. That is a range of 9, attacking the furthest. Clearly, we are not the furthest. You are the furthest. So, blue player, you have to roll for a block. Good luck.
Or
Or
should we target Vale here? And
oh yeah, I
I
guess you're right. They're
intervene.
equidistant. 1, 2, and 1, 2.
Sure.
You're right.
yeah, we're gonna target Vale instead, and I'm gonna try to intervene since you're at the same health as me.
That is a 6.
Yeah, I'll intervene. It's worth 1 damage.
Cool.
So I will take the. Okay, so now I attempt to block.
7?
It's okay.
I can do Unified Defense
yeah,
if you want.
Yeah. Why not? I'm not gonna.
Wait, can you? He's not.
They're
yeah,
now
yeah,
the
no, you're right.
closest, yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
because
you're
of
good.
the swap.
Excellent.
Unified Defense
No.
is a
It's all right.
5, and I need a 9. Sorry.
I take 1 damage,
Okay.
and then unfortunately you take 1 damage because it does 1 damage to the closest other hero.
So be it.
So then you
I
have
have-
perished.
I'm afraid I have. So
But now that's another one of our potions. So now
Armor.
one might say
Very
this is getting
much.
hashtag real.
that'll do it for me. And this is all done, right?
Yes, this is all done. So
Yes.
this moves on.
Cool.
I
There we go.
need to remove my damage for intervene, which I was waiting to do because that's the last thing I do.
I'm glad you remembered.
Nice. Okay, so that was, I think that was your turn, wasn't it?
That was my turn. That is it for me.
All right, let's see here. We will let me reset everything here. Flip this. Let's back up. All
To be
right.
clear, if you would have rolled this correctly, I would have actually survived that thrashing.
Yeah.
If you would have actually gotten me that heal, but you
But you disappointed us, so.
you very much disappointed poor scout. All right.
All right. Let us continue on. Now I'm going to move within range to Lightning Sheath. I am going to triple dice this Lightning Sheath. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Succeed. So now 3 4 strikes. 1 hit. Yes, I'll stress it. Why not?
Okay.
Another one
Second
hits. I'll heal myself if all. Oh, that one does not hit.
That's not.
That's
good,
okay.
yeah.
So 2 damage. So I will just flip one of these. All right. Now we will force strike for my second action, which is a hit.
That's
so I
good.
remove 4. Now I'm going to final cut, which I need an 8+.
Wow.
I think that is it.
Yo, that reads a
Hey.
6 when I hover over. I think you
Yeah,
got it.
nice. Okay.
All right.
All right. So that is. I'm ending my. Step again. Oh, actually, there's no safe place to move that puts me away from everyone. So that's fine. I like increasing stress. I like putting stress on the party. So that was final cut, which ends my turn, but it increases damage by 2. Did you remove that damage?
I didn't
John?
touch.
I did not mess with
Okay,
it. Got it.
then I will flip this. Oh man, we're getting close to defeating Abyss
Make
Empress
sure you
here.
pop this as well.
Oh yes, I did more than 3 damage, or 3 or more, so I get to heal myself 1, which might save us a potion, which is fantastic. That is all of my actions. I end my turn. We go to this first. It is hot in here, so I increase stress by 1. Now, the Abyss Queen, Invisible Web. Each target within 3, that is unfortunately all of us, I will start, and I'm likely going to intervene for one of you to deal increased damage. So just as a heads up.
Cool.
I will block mine first, though. 7. Needed a 10.
I can try Unified Defense for you if you want, but if I fail, then you'll take the
It's
damage.
only 1
anyways.
damage if you
No,
fail.
yeah, it's okay. I will take it. This is maybe I'm not going to intervene now, though, because if I intervene, I could
It's fine.
perish.
No, I don't want you to get yourself killed. That's fine.
So now Vale will roll to see if Vale is hit by.
Josh? There it is.
Let's see here.
Not adjacent.
Need a 9.
Yes,
plus.
so
That is a 4.
it's still within range. Sorry, I'm not picking up what the adjacency question is here, extremely. Because we're still all targetable within 3. Scout is within 3, I'm within 3, and then Vale was within 3. For me to intervene, I don't have to be adjacent.
Did you take damage for that?
Yes. So
Okay,
I
then-
failed my core block and I took 1
No.
damage.
I will block as well. Oh, you know what? Actually, that roll doesn't count. I'm not using that roll. I'm going to do the triple roll because it's going to refresh when it gets to me anyway. So I'm going to use my triple roll for my block. Here we go.
I'd use.
Here we go. Just need an 11. That is an 11.
This
That
is when
exactly
the closest ally. It does not require adjacency. It's just closest. But good call, because some of them do. Like this one. This one does. Like when an ally ends their turn on an adjacent space, so the healing aura does require adjacency, but unified defense does not. Okay, that is my turn. We did the card. Boss done. So now we are on to Vale. I will reset all of your stuff here for you, so you can.
Thank you. I will see 3. If I move here. Yeah. So I'm gonna triple dice to do my Sun Spear again.
Okay. Is that enough? That's
7,
9.
8, 9. That is enough because I needed
Hey.
a.
Nice.
So I'll deal 2 damage to Abyss Empress.
We're
Oh!
so close. Final 3
Wow,
health.
we are. I didn't realize we were that close to taking this spider out.
I
All right.
will. We might be able to this turn if I.
If you
get
get
lucky.
if you get the solar chain movement for Scout, then maybe.
Yeah. So I'll do a Core Strike.
Nice. What is the pink
I
star
need an 8.
arrow for?
I got
This
8.
this is to indicate level. Your level.
So you put
And
that.
then I will move. Yeah, I got it off. I'll
Very
move
good.
here and do Solar Chain.
Nice.
Okay. Just need an 8.
Please.
Oh no!
Okay,
That's
increased
7
stress.
That's doable.
becomes an 8. So I do 1
Okay.
damage.
Oh
Move the boss 1
no!
space closer.
Oh yeah! Yeah!
Yep.
Yeah! Yeah!
Now,
And that lets my
Scout,
little guy
end it for
try
us.
the perfect freeze frame slow motion shot, and it's an 8.
Yes.
I needed a 7. Boom! It is. It landed. Boom! His
Boom.
final
Dead.
or her final HP is gone.
This Empress
done.
deceased.
Well done.
And that is how the game ends. Boom. Oops.
Boom.
Dead. All right. So that is boss slain. That is the way that the game ends. We officially, unfortunately for Christina, smooshed Spider, which, you know, Spider in most of the time unless they're mutant. Anyways, that is Here to Slay Dungeon. See, and it did actually get closer to us losing than was a little bit more uncomfortable than we anticipated, given that we blew through 2 of the extra life potions there at the end. And yeah, but that's Here to Slay Dungeons. Yeah, you actually slayed here. 100%. All right. Christina, are we on to questions now? How do you want to handle this?
Unless you're muted.
Yeah, you might be muted. Possibility.
I was muted. Thank you so much. I am gonna go through the questions that came through for gameplay first.
Cool.
And then I will move on to any campaign questions as well. I'm gonna go through the questions I have first. I do see some questions coming through the chat at the moment. We'll get to those after we finish the first ones that are written down. The first one, just for people who had missed the stream earlier, what exactly are the actions that would trigger a level up?
So the way that the party levels up is when you slay. The first level up happens when you've slain 2 monsters, and then the second level up happens when you've slain 5 of them. So you'll level up twice throughout the game, assuming that you're able to slay 5 minions. So yeah, you'll by the time the dungeon boss comes out, you will have leveled up to level 3.
Perfect. Next question up is, what is the highest level that you can achieve in your build?
3.
Can you carry your build into the next dungeon?
No, again, there technically wouldn't be anything wrong with that if you wanted to house rule that, other than the beginning of the dungeon would probably be pretty easy because you would be starting with 3 action points compared to 1. You would have all of your abilities. So you'd see faster gameplay, definitely, but technically could. That is not something that we have built in as a function of the game, though.
No, that makes sense. Somebody had asked earlier when you were using intervene, does it count as a move?
It does not. So this is outside of the movement that you have to spend. The movement is just when you move during your turn. Because you're swapping places, you're not technically you're moving positions, but you're not actually moving to get to that position. You're just swapping places. So this does not count against your movement.
No, absolutely. Somebody had asked if there is a maximum health that you can have, and what can you do to increase health throughout the game?
Yeah, so there is max health you can have is whatever your individual player health indicates. So in this case, my health would be 4. We have Vale's health at a 3. So there's varying levels of health that each of the player characters will have. The max is whatever is indicated on their card. The way that you can heal throughout the game comes in a couple of different manners. There are some schools that specialize in healing and or defensive abilities. There are abilities, just a little bit, such as Healing Aura, that this allows a heal to happen. And then any of the tokens you see out here on the field with the heart indicate that a player within the party can step on this and take the token, and it heals them 1 HP. And then,
Amazing.
Again, also items we saw with the Golden Delicious here. This allows you to heal yourself or a friend as well, an ally.
Awesome. That is it for the questions that came through the chat earlier. So I'm going to go to the ones that are currently sitting in chat since we've slayed Abyss Queen. The first one that I don't think we've addressed yet is from Bill. They asked, can you make it harder by playing with no potions?
Yeah. You could. So, that would likely be a house rule that you'd want to implement. But yes, you could. The difficulty will increase, and you'll see that when you play in veteran mode. Again, part of that is like the Abyss Empress here, for example, is we would have been dealing with a lot more. I don't know why it does that. We would have been dealing with a lot more stress increase, which would have essentially done additional damage to the team, because almost each one of the red abilities here, which is triggered in veteran, affects you differently. In this one, the closest hero must increase stress by 3, so on and so forth, where you'll see a difficulty increase just based upon playing in veteran over standard. But yes, you could technically increase difficulty by just limiting the number of potions that you go into the dungeon, for sure.
No, absolutely. I know we absolutely encourage house rules, especially when mixing and matching these games. We're giving players parameters to work within, but the world is your oyster or your dungeon, and you can play it however you'd like. Let's see what else we have here. Somebody had asked, it looks like Orega Fire said that the boss was technically going to die on the next turn, but shouldn't the boss have had one final attack?
That is not the way. With most of the games that we create, when an elimination happens, we eliminate that player and or monster immediately to avoid any confusion. Where what happens if, say, that the Abyss Empress technically had swung in and dealt 1 damage to me after having lost their health, that could result in the party and the dungeon boss losing simultaneously. So we typically try to clear that up by eliminating. When an elimination happens, it happens immediately, and you essentially stop the turn right then and there. That way there's no confusion about, hey, did this death rattle come off, anything like that. So
Absolutely, that makes sense. Following up from that question, somebody had asked if there are differences in setup for other player counts, or if setup is the same, whether it's 2 or 4 players.
There will be small changes in setup, but it won't nothing major. It's just additional. No, that's actually, I take it back. It is not. There is no changes. Correct, Josh?
That is correct. There
Yeah.
are no player count differences in setup, except that you will have more people selecting second schools, abilities, etc.
Awesome.
And there are also no player count differences in difficulty because the monsters are in the dungeon are taking turns after each player still.
Correct.
For sure. Awesome. Murpheus had asked, is it as a triggered ability, is that indicated as the blue eye icon on the cards?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that is yeah. I didn't have any of those, but unified defense, and it's iconography to remind you it's an eye for you to keep an eye out for ones that are triggering in your off turn. So you will see those like intervene. I needed to pay attention to that once per turn when a foe would attack an ally. I could do that. Same with the parting shot and healing aura.
Awesome. Somebody had asked if a player can have the same class as a second ability, like a ranger having another ranger class.
No. So you
I
again.
think they mean school there, not class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, the ranger could not select precision as their second one. You have to have a varying class from your starting class.
Yes, and it's also perfect that you guys have, or that you just removed the token underneath. It'll show exactly what types of schools you can pick from for each hero, and they are unique based on the hero's abilities.
Yes, and this icon, if you're ever lost, matches the icon on the back of the card here. So if it is the black star symbol, means it's a physical. If it is, in this case, well, this is kind of a weird niche case because the ranger can be either physical or ethereal on their second one. Oh, here we go. This is what an ethereal one. This is the sorcerer. So if you're ever lost, just match icons. Pretty straightforward in a good way.
Perfect. It looks like Moonless Nightwolf had asked if the character abilities are they said, so are the character abilities a passive free to use when the condition is met?
Yes.
While still having to roll to see if it happens.
That is
yes.
correct. Yep.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Somebody also had asked if a dungeon boss can take damage from a trap or if only heroes take damage from traps.
Only heroes take damage.
Wonderful. And then I think this is a fun question, at least for you guys with the games team. What heroes and schools would you say is I would say I'm going to rephrase it as which ones would be your favorite to play, or the ones that you would also recommend for new players who are getting into dungeon crawlers.
Yeah, so a safe bet with dungeon crawls is anything that produces damage is typically something to look for. Because damage is always, you're always able to hand out more damage. So I would say maybe some of the easier ones, at least, or ones that produce more damage would likely be blades and precision within this one. Again, it's not that you can't find damage in the other ones by any, but yes, those would probably be the two. The cool part is we do have a quick start guide that you will be able to utilize. That will kind of walk you through. If you're unfamiliar with dungeon crawls, the idea is to look at the quick start guide as a way to kind of reference what we think is best to start with. So.
Awesome. And then I had a question that was popping up earlier. Somebody that joined the stream late was wondering if we could just go over how the dungeon tiles are laid out at the beginning of the game one more time for them.
Yeah. So the first one that you're going to do is, I will clear this off since we are done with gameplay. So the first thing that you're going to establish here is the dungeon entrance, which is this one here. This is where all of the players will spawn at the beginning of the game. If you're playing a 4-player, there will be a player on each of the entrance spaces here. You establish this one first, which is why we did this up here. And then the only condition that you have to follow when building the dungeon out, and this is why it's kind of fun, is because it's modular for you from the standpoint of as long as you follow this one rule, you can build the dungeon essentially however you would like. And that is you have to have 2 connecting sides of a space or of a tile that have like a legal connection, essentially. So in this case, we have a connection here, we have a connection here, connection here, here, and here. So this more than accomplishes that. Same with all of these. The way that this wouldn't work is if I decided instead I wanted to do something like this with the last tile. I could not build off of it like this because there is only one connecting wall right here, or edge. So we would need to have at least 2 connect, which means you could do something as simple as this, bump it up, because you now have at least two eligible connections. So yeah, that's the only caveat there when it comes to building a dungeon out. So you can build it however you would like. We have gotten creative with some of the dungeons we've built. We've left gaps in the dungeon, stuff like that. So you can utilize this to the best of your availability, where if you want to make it harder for monsters to get to you, you can think, okay, monster is going to spawn over here. How do I rotate this to put it further away from the heroes, making it harder for them to get to us, so on and so forth.
Awesome.
Here's
Thank you.
another example using the Overgrown Dungeon sides where these walls, these
Yes.
tiles are not adjacent. And so you can't place this like this, but you could place this like this.
Yeah, because then we'd have 1, 2 here, compared to if we're like this, we would only have 1 eligible.
Awesome. We have about 10 minutes left time-wise, so I'm going to get through these last few questions in the stream chat and then handle the ones that came in through Instagram as well. And then we'll probably be wrapping up the stream just to let anybody in the chat know.
Cool.
Somebody was asking, who goes first at the beginning of the game?
So we tell you to establish a party leader. We thought that was kind of funny since everyone gets to play a party leader in Here to Slay. Normally we recommend erring on the side of somebody who has played dungeon crawlers before. So we say find an established party leader that will help lead you through the dungeon type thing. And then that's who would go first. However, there is no real caveat to who goes. The team gets to select. You just have to select. So
Awesome. There have been a few people asking if they can fuse 2 dungeons or have like 2 dungeon bosses in the same dungeon. I'm assuming this still applies under the house rules game. It is not something that we've balanced for, but I will let you answer that if you'd like.
yeah, so yes and no. You could get away with introducing 2 dungeon types. Like, there's not really a reason you couldn't have it like this if you really wanted to make a bigger dungeon. However, the thing that you're going to run into at this point is each of the dungeons have their own unique cards that go with it. In this case, we have the Molten Dungeon that is doing hot in here with the traps. Same with this card here. This would only affect... well, I guess technically not, because these would count as traps as well. But you lose some of the uniqueness of the dungeon when you start mixing them, because you don't get the secondary dungeon card. Again, you could house rule it and have both dungeon cards trigger these here. But right now, we recommend, again, just from what we've tested and balanced for, is that it would be 1 dungeon type at a time, just because it allows you to play on the uniqueness of that dungeon a little bit more. But again, you're not going to break the game per se. You're just probably not going to get all of the unique interactions that happen.
Perfect.
And same with the boss monster, I guess, technically, too. You could technically spawn a second boss monster if you really wanted to. The problem is with that is you wouldn't want to likely alternate to do Dungeon Boss 1, Dungeon Boss 2. It would probably end up better if you did 1, 2, 1, 2 in between player turns. But that's going to be really punishing, just as a heads up. Having a boss monster trigger 2 attacks in between turns will punish your team pretty heavily.
No, absolutely. That makes it, I think, for all of the gameplay questions. I'm going to go through some of the other questions that we received really quickly, and then that will be a wrap for the stream. So first, with the questions I noted from earlier, somebody was asking for estimated price for the all-in game. I can say that we will be announcing pledge tiers and sharing the cost of all of those before the campaign goes live, so you will have a little bit of time to prepare. I know we're less than 2 weeks away, but we will make sure that you have some time to prep. We also will be offering stretch pay. You can do stretch pay in 4 equal installments. That just allows us to make sure that payments are wrapped up as we're moving on to fulfillment and distribution. People are asking if the game is only going to be co-op. This is a cooperative dungeon crawler. We do not have PvP as something that is designed for the game. We are encouraging you to work together. If you do want to play PvP, you can either do house rules, which we always encourage, or there's always the original Here to Slay game as well, if you have an itch for slaying monsters and messing with your friends. For an estimated delivery of the project, we will have the timeline shared as soon as the campaign goes live, but you can expect early next year in terms of delivery timelines. And then somebody was asking about if there's going to be dice for all of the heroes. There's going to be a dice set that gets passed around. I can't speak more to add-ons or anything else just now. But if there is anything that you are interested in seeing, we do encourage you to comment on the campaign page or in any of the updates. We're constantly in there. You're going to see me in there a lot, tracking comments and interests. We obviously can't accommodate absolutely every request that comes through, but we do listen, and we are intrigued to see what the community is looking for, and we'll adjust if it's reasonable and possible for us to do during the campaign. There have been a lot of questions about vinyl figures. We have vinyl figures planned for the heroes and monsters of the game. We've only posted 6 updates so far, so in one of those updates we did meet the heroes and monsters. You'll be able to see some of their vinyl figures there, and they're also on the live page currently. Let's see. How long will the ship or the campaign will be? The campaign is going to be 21 days, so it'll be 3 weeks total. We will be offering international shipping. There are some limitations on places that we can ship, but we'll be able to answer specific questions for which countries you're looking for, either in the project comments during the campaign, or you'll be able to see it in the drop down when you select that as you're checking out for your pledge. Going through the questions that came through on Instagram. There have been a few people asking if the tabletop simulator file will be available. At the moment, this is just for internal use. We've also been doing a lot of external playtesting, so this has been a version that we've been able to use for that. I will share the interest with the team for consideration. We have released a tabletop simulator file in the past for Twisted Cryptids, so that is something that we will keep in mind.
And also, I'll interrupt just for a second. We have a pretty lively community when it comes to people who take initiative on to create tabletop simulator versions of our games. We have virtually every working version of a game that's out thanks to the community in the Discord. So if you haven't joined the Discord, definitely take a look at the Unstable Games Discord, because there are people in there that have made previous working tabletop versions of everything. And if we don't do an official release, then there will be somebody that will likely do it in there, and you can get notified when that happens.
Yes, shout out Dragon Crystal. One of our game experts has done some really fantastic ones, and I know that there's some other fan run ones as well that are incredible. I am trying to see. I switched tabs for a moment to try to pull the Discord invite, and I was like, where did it go? But I found it. Let's see. Somebody was asking if they can mix the different base games. So when the campaign launches, there are going to be 3 individual base games available. You'll be able to choose between just one of them or a way to bundle all 3. All of them are going to be mix and match, which is awesome. So if you want to use Lupe, the warrior hero, in the Dreamscape Nightmare dungeon, you absolutely can. And you can move those around interchangeably.
Again, caveat there is you would need to bring the corresponding starting school, which I'll show real quick. So if you are bringing in, say, Vale or Lupe, you would need to bring their corresponding school that is marked here in the lower left as one of the school decks that you bring into that game. So definitely interchangeable. You just need to make sure you always bring their base class with.
Awesome. Yes, and I believe, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, there's going to be 18 schools total that they'll be able to mix and match if they get like all 3 base games.
Correct. Yeah, there are 6 in each game. Yes.
Amazing. There have been quite a few questions about translations. So we are going to be translating the game into Spanish and French. This is one of the first times that we've done this for a crowdfunding project. We have been seeing the requests for other languages. We're passing all of those along to our localization partner just for consideration. We can't make any promises, of course, especially this close to the campaign launch. But it is something that we are very aware of and doing our best to accommodate with the introduction of Spanish and French, which is exciting. We hope that more people will be able to enjoy Here to Slay Dungeons around the world. Somebody had asked why there are 3 separate base games. The short answer to that is that the game is pretty expansive. You have so many different playable characters, so many different dungeon monsters and environments that we've created. Bundling those all into one game would just create a pretty beefy and hefty game. And we are known for producing more approachable and like slightly, I'd say cost-friendly games as well too. So we wanted to make sure that there's an option for people if they just want to just try it out first before going all in. They absolutely can. There's also going to be differences between the base games, so you can pick which one matches your vibe best when it comes to your play group style. But yeah, it's essentially just if we wanted to keep the scale of the game that we wanted to create, it would have become a pretty big project for a lot of people, and we wanted to make sure it was accessible. But yeah, exactly like Morpheus just said in the chat, whatever you buy, you have a standalone game with your preference, and then you'll be able to mix and match. If you have some friends that are interested, you guys can get different base games and then come together at game night, which is exciting. Let me see. I think that was most of the questions. I do see some of the questions. If we are avoiding your question, it may be because it is something that we will be announcing during the campaign that we can just not speak to currently. But we are listening and tracking the comments. I also know that we're approaching the end of game time right now. Let me see. I think that was all of the questions that came through from Instagram.
Perfect. I think that probably puts us in a pretty good spot then to where I know we're kind of near the end of the stream time anyways. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out, ask more questions on the Gamefound page. Again, you are able to click any of the panels on the lower part of my channel. I say any of them. If you're wanting the Gamefound link, click, I think it's the first one on the left, I believe, if I remember correctly. That will take you directly to the Gamefound page. Definitely ask any of the questions you have there. We'll answer them as we can. You'll likely see most of us pretty active in the chat. Cool. Anything else, Christina, before we head out?
I think that should be everything. Somebody had just asked if we're going to be doing other live streams. The short answer is yes. We will make sure that we'll be giving you at least 1 to 2 days heads up before a stream, and all of the streams will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube afterwards. But we'll be showing off the other base games, and you'll get, when the campaign launches, you're going to be getting a very full overview of what comes in every box, very detailed descriptions of any add-ons and how they can be applied to the game. So lots of information to come. This is just the beginning.
Right. Well, thank you so much for those that played, made this stream possible, all the monitors, all that. Appreciate you being here. And then I appreciate all of you in the audience participating, asking some good questions. It's always fun seeing how everyone's brain works, see where their questions are at, make sure that we're, answering and clarifying the correct things. So we love chatting with y'all. So definitely keep those questions coming in. And looking forward to more interactions with y'all. So thank you so much. Everyone have a good afternoon.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye-bye.